Welcome to the stream. Happy Sunday. Sunday afternoon. Finally got home from chores, grocery shopping. I have food for the week. I was so busy this past week. Normally I shop, as you may or may not know, grocery shop trip, my lunch hour on Thursdays. So that I'm set for the weekend, especially for like a week long of groceries usually. Couldn't do it last week. I was so busy on Thursday. Had to do it on a Sunday. Hate grocery shopping on a weekend, but it was a necessity. Very unfortunate. But I'm back. I'm here now. And I'm deciding to start with Raging Loop. We may switch over to something depending on how we feel after a bit of reading. How I'm feeling. How we feel collectively. Also depending on how long the stream goes. We may or may not go into the night, depending if I get a ping from a friend or not. But as of right now, we'll start with Raging Loop. Quick recap of the last stream of Raging Loop, which was on the shorter side. I think just went up on YouTube today. It was only like an hour, I think. Basically, the fallout from the... Excuse me, I almost kind of like let out a burp there. I'm so sorry. I'm so gross. Sorry about that. God, why does anyone listen to this? Willingly subject themselves to my voice. What was I saying? Oh, the fallout from the almost seemingly rapid succession of deaths in this village. I'm almost kind of surprised how fast and loose this story narrative allows characters to die. It creates, I'm not saying it's bad, but it creates like this, you don't get to spend a ton of time with some of these characters that die very quickly or very early on. Now, maybe that's because it's built into the narrative that we're going to be going back in time with certain keys to unlock doors to then like change certain things from happening. And so like maybe someone ends up living once we divert with a key or something. I don't know exactly how it's going to handle. We'll have to see more key action, but I digress. Something I almost missed last stream. So on top of Mochi and the guy who cries wolf, the old man who cries wolf, they had voted the old man who cries wolf to be the guy that they chose to willingly hang. As I said last stream, they're basically like, there's potential that he's suspicious, but also old man not going to be much help or use to us as we progress through this game because he's just crazy. That was basically their willingly thing. So they're like, not only are we eliminating a weak link, potentially, he might be the wolf, but if we're going to eliminate someone, we might as well eliminate a weak link, basically. So they voted for him. Him and Mochi fucked off. They get murdered. They're like, what the fuck happened here? Again, I agree with the choice. Then it came out, then later after that, that big mountainous man also died, seemingly murdered. Very unfortunate because he seemingly, or at least he claimed that he was, and I'm not going to be talking in definitives like our main protagonist because I can't criticize and then also do the same thing in turn. So I'm going to say seemingly, allegedly, he was the snake role in the game of Werewolf. That's what he claimed. That's what most of the people or the group seems to believe, that he had the ability every night to then pick someone else in the village to research, come back and tell them if they're human or werewolf. He was, as of that last night, he was set to research Haru, the young girl, which we learned was younger than Mochi, apparently, if I read that correctly yesterday. Shock to me. He was set to do that, but alas, before he could reveal the results of his research, he was murdered, which obviously raises some alarms. Then, probably because of that, but at least on a gameplay level, I'm taking away that does point some suspicion to Haru, or it's an easy to point to Haru because maybe she didn't want that to be revealed if she was human or not, right? And I think our main protagonist, at least some people, as the numbers are dwindling, people are pointing at Haru and being like, oh yeah, this is like, that she seems suspicious. Now, in our last hour of reading last stream, there is a lot of like there was a lot of assumptions getting thrown around by our main protagonist. He was like, well, there's only these amount of people left, right? And he's basically playing a game of like process of elimination, trying to figure out who the most suspicious are. There are some leaps that he is taking, which I noted in that last hour where I'm like, well, you're 100% assuming that there was no shenanigans and no lying, that he was the snake, and that he was telling the truth when he said that the other, the stuck-up guy with a stick up his ass is a human. Like, you're assuming that's truth, that all that is truth. You're taking that for gospel, and then you're having to go from there. Because this whole house of cards collapses if we're just so trusting of certain people in their roles, right? And again, I say this out of interest. I don't know if the game is allowing that wiggle room as far as like people lying, or if we as a reader are supposed to, like, I don't know if we as a reader are supposed to play along with our protagonist, or if we're supposed to challenge our protagonist, right? That's one of the most, so far, one of the most interesting things, because the game props up our main protagonist as a smart game player, as far as this social deduction game. But, like I've said, clearly, there are some leaps he's taking. And so, something I'll be curious to see, hopefully sooner rather than later, is the game doing that and being so sure, the protagonist making him sound so sure, so that we, maybe a less challenging reader, not like myself, would be like, oh yeah, he's totally right. There's no way he could be wrong about these assumptions. Does the game want us to do that? Or does the game want us to always question our main protagonist as we play along with him, read along with him? At some point, hopefully the game would be able to tell us, right? If they go like, oh, if like everything was wrong, like that seems like a reveal that could totally happen. And that's kind of what I'm waiting for almost. I'm kind of like, at some point, I don't know how deep we get into, I'd assume someplace near where we get like a key that then lets us go down a different path, is I could totally imagine the game being like some kind of reveal, and then our character's like, ah, fuck, I was so wrong about that moment back then. What happened? Where was I? Or, like, where was I wrong? And then it's like, maybe it doesn't outright say it, but then you listening to me, the smart people, are like, yeah, we knew way earlier that he was wrong making an assumption and a leap here. He can't just make such a leap. You can't just take someone who seems trusting and seems like a leader at face value. That's where I think we're at. Raging Loop. I don't know why, and I don't think I've said this before, but every time we load into Raging Loop, I always feel like we get to this title screen, it should like, a voice should be like, maybe like a voice of each character, and it's just done at random. I feel like I've played a game like that. Or at least several games like that, where you both in a title screen, and then like whoever's just a random, they pick a random voiced character and they go Raging Loop, or whatever the title of the game is. Oh, get me out of here. Didn't mean to do that. I was curious about what that little thing was. Those are just the endings, right? I guess if you want to go experience the bad endings. Which I don't. Oh! Alright, here we go. That was a quick enough recap, right? Letting you in on my thoughts. I gotta be honest. If I had to just guess, I would think she's the most suspicious, just on a pure social level, because she is seeing like people that she clearly loves around her die, people she has, you know, familiar ties to and all. She always seems tired and haggard, seems kind of out of it. Almost like I could see her playing the role of like, I've got nothing else to lose to. Even if she's not like a wolf, right? Wasn't there something about like the chance that maybe there's like people killing without actually necessarily being a wolf kind of thing? She always seems tired. She's out of it. If people she loves dies, and she's like, well, I've got nothing else to lose. This is why I love, you know, I'm not making food for these ungrateful people anymore. I'm trying to poison them anyway. I don't know. Things like that. She seems... Plus, like, it's very easy to, like, hide murderous intentions behind, like, the calm, chill facade, right? That's that kind of trope where it's like, oh, they seem the most innocent. And it's like, ah, oh, fuck. They were the bad person. Anyway, I'm sorry I couldn't prepare anything better. She ladled what appeared to be rice gruel from the large pot. It was a thick white soup with vegetables, rice, and something brown inside. Ew. Something brown. Mystery brown. Game meat? Excuse me, game meat? Is it fermented? Yes. The fresh meat was spoiled. Chiemi-chan. I whispered to her. What do we do now? What do we do? What do you want to do? We were talking about the thing where I had to avoid the local food. You know what? I'll stick to my diet until the end this time. Okay, thanks. What did I mean by this time? Did I think I had another life or something? It was fine. It wasn't like I was cool with dying just on the off chance I got a second shot. Dying wasn't an acceptable option. I wasn't about to compromise on that. There's no point in walking around, so I'll just wait here. Alright. You're not going to eat? I have a bunch of allergies. It's because you youngins don't eat proper. You won't become strong if you don't have a balanced diet. You must eat the brown goop for a proper diet. Hey, I was lying, but telling actual allergy sufferers that they should just eat and they'd be cured was actual murder. Yeah, it's not very woke of this grandma. Not very chill of you, grandma, telling allergy sufferers to fucking suck it up. Well, there were some efforts to cure allergies by carefully injecting the allergens via vaccine, but that was a subject for the doctor. Anyway, going back to the dorm by myself was dangerous, since they'd suspect me, so I just waited in the corner of the room, still hungry. Sorry, adjusting audio slightly. Where are Yasunaga-kun and Haru-chan? Still upstairs? Don't mind them. Your food will get cold. More! I'll go call them. I went up the stairs, and when I reached second floor, I stopped for a moment. I heard some rustling. Uh-oh. Don't we always hear rustling when there's a death about to be revealed? It's the fucking the rustling is like an omen for death. Someone has died. Was it possible they'd gotten that intimate in just a few minutes? Oh my god. No, you know what? I take it back. Not death. It's an omen for the dirty deed. Sex. I don't know. Was I about to ruin the mood? This guy's... Oh, I don't want to walk in on these people. Well, food was important too. I said, to get their attention and slowly went up, making sure I was loud enough for them to hear me coming. It's lunchtime. Oh, Yasunaga-kun. Hello. The room was full of stuff. It was a huge mess. Are you looking for something? No luck, huh? Yes, I was told there was a new apron in the attic, but we couldn't find it there, so we were checking other places too.
そうか。
So that was it?
見た
Did you see?
え
Huh?
その、よければみんなには黙っててもらえますか？
Could you not tell anyone about this?
いや、勝手に気を使いはしたけど、別に何か危ないシーンを目撃したわけじゃないんだけど。
Well, I did come up carefully, but it's not like I saw anything I shouldn't have.
お楽しみ中だった？
Were you going at it? Something an adult man should not be asking two technical children. I'll be honest. I'll say it. I'll come out and say it. I mean, I assume this is building up to be like a misunderstanding thing. Like they weren't doing anything, but I think like that's the gag, right? But like honestly, our shitty protagonist man stays shitty. Like what a weirdo. Don't ask. I don't care if the world is ending. You don't ask them if they were going at it. Not your place, man. You're an outsider. For more reasons than one.
何言うのよ
What are you saying?
嘘だよ。こんな時にそんなこと、君たちはしないでしょ？
I'm kidding. I know you wouldn't do something like that at a time like this.
そりゃそうですよ。
Of course we wouldn't.
もちろんよ
Yeah. Really now? I was still kind of worried.
じゃあ、一旦切り上げて食事にしたらどうかな。
Anyway, why not take a break and get some food? They didn't argue, as we prepared to go back. There was a loud noise from downstairs.
何
What? I hope it's like old person just collapsed. Face first into the brown gruel. Yasunaga-kun and I looked at each other, then ran out of the room without saying a word. We were met with a strange scene. I instantly realized what had happened and who was responsible. Kinosuke was wearing a furious expression, his shoulders shaking. There was a shattered plate of rice gruel at his feet. The contents were still steaming. He was facing Kaori Oribe-san, who was standing completely still. Did he throw his food to the floor? Was it that bad? No way. This is clearly something way bigger than that.
いきなりどうしたんです
What's gotten into you? Shammy and the others didn't seem to understand either. They shifted uneasily.
なんですと
What?
渦だ渦獅子滝にトリカブトが入っている
Wolf's Bane! The plant! There's, aconite. Aconite? Huh? In the food! What?
メイコちゃん
Also, why did I give him that voice all of a sudden? Meiko-chan, did you eat any?
いただきますまだ
Bah, not yet.
他に誰も食べてない
What about the rest of you?
ちょっと待って。何が何だか。本当なんですか？
Hold on. I'm so lost. Is that true?
見ろこの生煮えの傭変を光沢があり裏も白くなく先端が尖る匂いも違うよもぎや二輪草じゃない
Look at these leaves. They shine. The other side isn't white and the tip is pointy. They smell different too. This isn't mugwort or windflower.
ほんまですこりゃフスじゃ
You're right. It's Wolfsbane.
山菜を入れたの。母さん。
You used wild plants, Mom?
え
Yes.
危なかったね。間違えてそんなの入れちゃって中毒が起きるところ。
That was close. What a mistake. Someone almost got poisoned.
殺す気だこの女は
She wants to kill us.
待ちなさいよただ間違えただけでしょそれだけでそんなひどい
Huh? Wait. It was just a mistake. That's it. Don't be so cruel. Haruchan stopped talking when she realized the suspect was acting strange. Kaori-san was staring right at Kyonosuke, not moving an inch, and smiling. She was completely glaring him down. See, this to me, this just, even if she's hasn't done anything bad before, I think this is clearly like she, especially with big guy dying, whose name keeps escaping me, who they were into each other or whatever, like vaguely, kind of implied, right? If he's now dead, like she's like, oh, like I'm going down. I'm taking everyone with me, kind of thing. That's what I'm thinking is happening. Yes. That response was so delayed, we had no idea what it was for. When Kinosuke blocked or backed away a bit, his expression shifted from rage to fear.
母さん
Mom? Oh!
みんな死んでしまえばいいのよ
That's fun. You should all die! As she stood there, wailing madly, she brandished a knife. She was hardly moving quickly, but the sight of the blade had stunted our reflexes. I'd seen some bizarre corpses here. I'd bore witness to what pure malice could do. But still living, blatant malviolence, killing intent, was intense enough to paralyze everyone present. I barely registered the scene unfolding before me. Staggering a bit, the woman passed the counter. The sharp knife was still green with something, likely shavings of aconite? Asonite? I don't know what that is. I context clues, I know what it is, but I might be mispronouncing it. I'm an idiot, I can barely read, okay? She raised her voice and aimed her poisoned weapon at the nearest target, Kinosuke-san. Oh shit! I gotta make a choice. I feel like if I tackle her, I die. And in a weird way, I want to pick the non-correct choice, right? Wouldn't I? I'm tackling her, knowing that it's probably the bad option. I'm gonna get stabbed. That's my prediction here. Take it to the bank. Take it to the bank. I don't know why I moved when I did. I was a man of words, not of impulse. In times of crises, I was the type to turn tail and run after making some sort of parting threat. I shouldn't have been on good enough terms with either Kinosuke or Kaori-san to risk my life for them. Yet when I came to my senses, my body was dancing, charging straight for Kaori-san with my right shoulder. And after a brief struggle, we collapsed. I heard her let out a strained cackle in my ears. I had to change my posture. Unless I pinned her hand down, But in the end, turned out I really wasn't cut out for the job. These roundabout thoughts were just delaying the inevitable. When the madly laughing woman embraced me, my thoughts ground to a complete halt. Because I kind of want to see all the bad endings, right? Not only because, but also they might give us keys, right? I think that's the philosophy we should be going here. I should be going, right? She'd stabbed me right in the back. Simple as that. To her, I was just another obstacle that had to be removed. I didn't know if the wound itself was fatal, but I could tell that the blade had sunk in incredibly deep, and that it was coated in leaf green poison. Ooh. It must have been a near instant death. My mind quickly grew hazy, yet my final moments were those of self-reflection. Reckless actions really aren't my forte after all. I'd guessed correctly. I love that for me. Gamma Ovar, Bad Ending 5. Watch Hint Corner. I mean, I think we determined I don't need to watch the hint corners, as lovely as they are. But I mean, there's a part of me that's like, I'm curious what the hint would be. Wouldn't it just be like, hey, I mean, on a very pure level, it's just like, don't go for the option that got you killed, right? do the other thing. But I mean, is it going to be more flowery, or it's like, oh, maybe you shouldn't just rationally like go towards a person who has a weapon without maybe something on your own, you know? But I mean, it would just be like, hey, buddy, pick the option that didn't lead to this. That would be my thought. But again, I don't mind seeing the bad screen because I knew it was going to be the bad screen. I was correct in my thinking. I've got it in my brain. Now, gonna have to go to that good old chart we got going on here. Yeah, it's the bad. Yeah, fucking the bad choice. You got the bad choice going on right there. Bad choice ASMR. Make sure you're wearing headphones for the best experience. I've talked about it. I would not be able to get. I would not be confident if I had to like do an ASMR video or something to like save my life somehow. I'd be failing. No one wants to listen to my voice for ASMR. Let's be real. And then we can just there we go. Find a nearby weapon. Easy as that. Piece of cake. I had no idea why my body began to move. I grabbed the nearest chair without even thinking about it. It was old, wooden, and heavy. Picking it up made me lose my balance for a bit. I pointed its legs at the would-be murderer and dashed forward as fast as I could. A crash, a cry of pain, a scream. Amidst the cacophony, I attempted to keep Kaori-san pinned down. I pressed the edge of the chair against her knife arm. She cried out in pain, and the blade clattered to the floor. Chiemi then quickly kicked it away. Gunk, 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 gunk. Oh, simple as that. Man, just a chair, man. In hindsight, it all happened in a mere matter of seconds. In fact, tying her up was way harder, what with her foaming at the mouth and struggling. In the end, we bound her limbs and gagged her to silence her bloodthirsty screams. With that done, we had no choice but to face reality.
僕がこれを切り出すのはどうかと思うけど、どうするんです？これは。
I know I'm probably not the best person to ask, but what do you even do about this? 6 of us stood in the mists right outside the dining hall. Kaori-san was locked inside. Sorry.
読み人になってしもうた。
She's also become a Yomibito.
違う、そんなわけない。母さんはちょっとおかしくなってるだけだ。
No, that can't be. She's just not feeling well.
香織さん、やっぱり無理してたんだね。
I guess she was really pushing herself.
当たり前でしょ。母さんが義継をどれだけ大事にしてたか。
Of course she was. Do you have any idea how important Yoshitsugu was to her? I read that weird, sorry. He was foolish, short-tempered, and annoying, but... No, that's exactly why she treasured him so much. She often said that he was as reckless as his father.
母は僕が責任を持って落ち着ける。みんな、どうか今日のことは許し。
I'll take responsibility and calm her down myself. Please forgive her for the...
宴で決めるべきだ。
We should decide this at the feast.
待ってください。これは宴とは関係ない個人の暴走です。分けて考えるべきだ。
Please wait. This is a personal outburst that has nothing to do with the feast. Keep her out of it.
どうしてそう言える？ご婦人は確かに汚れによって狂気を得たのかもしれん。
How can you be so certain? She might have succumbed to the corruption.
野里さん。
Asato-san.
霧の中のことは宴で決めるべきだ。
Everything in the mist has to be decided at the feast.
汚れるかもしれん。
Oh. Everything in the mist has to be decided at the feast. Breaking that law risks falling victim to the corruption.
そうですな。
That's true.
わかりました。行きましょう。
Very well. Let's go.
ダメだ。このままだと香織さんが殺されるぞ。安永くん。
No, Yasunaga-kun. She'll be killed.
させませんよ。僕が。
I won't let that happen.
久石さん。母を見ていてくだ
How
さ
do
い。
you mean you're not gonna let that happen? Good luck, my guy. Reminds me of like in Genosha, where it's like you specifically had to like to get to certain. I mean, spoiler, not really a spoiler, but just like slight mechanic, like game explanation in Genosha. But cover your ears for the next like 15 seconds if you don't want to hear it. Where like to progress sometimes or get certain progress part of the story, you had to not just win, but also like protect and carry some players, even poor players, to certain points of the games. And so you're like, ah, fuck. So that's him. That's what he's doing. He's like, I gotta keep her alive. We got this. Gotta keep my mom up. Fusaishi-san, please look after her.
僕はフリーでいいのかい？
Not gonna lock me up again? No one replied. Apparently, didn't matter anymore.
ちえみちゃん、
Chemi-chan. She was making the same face she did whenever she talked about God.
やっぱりこうなった。
I knew this would happen. I've talked about this before, but there's gotta be some point where the game, like, allows him to participate in the feast, right? That might be, like, some key thing where it's like, okay, he can affect it now. I'd imagine it's gonna be behind a key, right? Where he's like, no, I'm going to be participating in these to affect what happens, right? Sometime. I knew this would happen. Strangely enough, there was emotion in her eyes. I could see 90% resignation and 10% fear. 15% pleasure, 50% pain, and a 100% reason to remember her name. Watching me until she finally passed out of sight, she followed the others toward the hall.
酒はどこにあるんだ？
Like, look how many little people we have! Fuck! It's dropping! Where's the sake?
そんなのもういいじゃないですか。
Can we just skip that part?
清めるのは大事よ。ほれ、のさと様。
Cleansing is important. Here you go, Nasato-sama.
いただく。回るな。
Thank you. Hits the spot.
ちーちゃんも、
You too, Chi-chan.
やすくん、
Yasukun.
あんたは舐めるだけ。
You just take a lick.
お姉ちゃんは
What about Oni-chan?
植松様はもうダメじゃ。
Uematsu-sama can't be here anymore. Matt.
私世話するわ。
I'll look after this girl.
どうせ無駄。
What's the point?
ちえねえ、しっかりしてよ。
Chieni, get a grip.
では始めるが、私は織部夫人をくくるのに一票入れたい。
And let's begin. I vote to hang Madame Oribe.
根拠は何です？
That was quick. For what reason?
彼女は危険だ。
She's dangerous.
じゃあ僕は植松里香子さんに一票入れますよ。
In that case, I'll vote
危
for...
険だからです。
Oh. In that case, I'll vote for Rikako Uematsu-san. For the same reason.
他の各位はどう考えるのかね。仮投票だ。決定じゃないとしてだ。
Oh, what about the rest? This is a temporary vote for now. Say what you think.
あたしはどっちもくくるべきと思っておりますよ。
I think we should...
かとかはどっちでもない。
Sorry, I keep talking over him. I think we should hang both. Doesn't really matter what order.
私今頭回ってない。
I can't think straight right now.
植松里香子をくくるべきよ。香織さんは話せばわかるかもしれないけど、あっちはもう化け物じゃない。
We should hang Rikako Uematsu. We can at least talk to Kaori-san, but Rikako Uematsu is a mad beast.
お前はどうなんだ、子供。
What about you, child?
お姉ちゃん、
Man,
出るの？
subjecting her to make votes about who they fucking kill is... I mean, I get it's part of the whole thing, but damn. They're eating Oni-chan?
何を言ってる。いいか。お前の好きなリカ子さんを守りたいなら、織部香織をくくるのに投票しろ。
What's that supposed to mean? Listen, if you want to protect Rikako-san, then vote to hang Kaori Oribe. Bleh.
無理ですよ。分かりっこない。
She
危険
won't...
が3人。あとは2対1。
She
決ま
won't...
ったようですね。
I'm so sorry. I keep going. She won't understand. 3 didn't vote, and the 3 who did are in favor of hanging Uematsu-san. It's decided. So they're saying she won't understand, 3 didn't vote. Okay.
ふざけるな。わざわざ移り住んでまで安水に身を尽くした彼女に対して、これが安水の恩の返し方か。
This is absurd. This is how you repay her for moving here and working so hard on our behalf?
それは。
I...
というか、聞かせてくれませんか。母は取り乱してはいるけど、話は通じる。説得の可能性はあります。
Hear me out, will you? My mom is just a bit out of it right now. We may still be able to reason with her.
植松さんは、あれじゃ、獣と同じじゃないですか。投票だってもうできない。読み人なんですよ。母とは違う。
However, Uematsu-san is basically a mindless animal. She doesn't even have the capacity to vote on things. Like mom, she's a Yomibito now.
仮に今日母をくくったとして、明日はどうするんです？植松さんを何とかする手はあるんですか？
Even if we hang my mom today, what will we do tomorrow? Do you have a way of fixing Uematsu-san?
決まりですかね。
Looks like it's decided.
なんと短絡的な血縁者ゆえのひいき目かもしれんが、対極的なものが何も見えていない。
Sometimes I like reading laughing, like when characters laugh, and then sometimes I just let the voice actors handle it. How simplistic. I know you're biased because Madame Uribe is a relative, but you don't see the big picture.
なんですって？
What?
考えてもみろ。我々はあくまで狼を全滅させねばならんのだ。優先度からすればそっちの方が先だ。
Think about it. Our top priority is to kill the wolves. That comes before all else.
読み人は狼ではないのだろう。であれば、彼女は狼でないと証明されたも同義なのだ。
Yomibito aren't wolves, are they? That basically proves that Rikako-san isn't a wolf.
は？どういうことです？
Huh? What do you mean?
伝承を思い出してみるがいい。狼とは世持つ狼。すでに黄泉の汚れを負った存在なのだ。
Remember the legend. The wolves are Yomatsu Okami. Wait, remember the legend. The wolves are Yomatsu Okami. Okami. I'm trying. Beings already corrupted by Yomi.
その上さらに読み人になるなど考えられるかね。
Do you really believe that they can become Yomibito as well?
山脇さん、どう思われるか。
Yamawaki-san, what's your opinion?
それはそうかもしれんですが。
That might be true.
こういう仮説はどうかね。強い汚れを受ければ斬死する。あの取材者たちや君の弟のように。
Here's the hypothesis. Powerful corruption slaughters you like it did those journalists and your brother.
しかし一方、弱い汚れは狂気となる。狂ったお守りが狼で、狂った人が読み人だ。
However, weaker levels of corruption cause madness. Mad guardians are wolves, while mad humans are Yomibito. Can I just say, I'm going to say maybe, and I don't know because I don't know what the fans of this game or following along, people that have already finished. But I'm going to posit something that may be an unpopular opinion, a hot take, if you will. I get why, and I get that in the story, it adds a little bit of uncertainty, which they probably want. But on my end, I don't know if I like the whole corruption aspect to this. I know it probably adds to the mystery that this game is building, and maybe something will be revealed about it later on as we get in later, so maybe I'm talking too early on this. But I kind of wish there wasn't a secondary, if I'm understanding it correctly, I wish there wasn't a secondary or secondarily level mystery to everything, right? Like, the primary mystery to everything is we're in this village that has these weird spiritual rules and laws, and then the wolf game happens, and then we play this, we got to figure out what's happening. But then there's a secondary thing that's happening where it's like, oh, there's this corruption level that even the players that are playing the characters in the story don't 100% understand and grasp, because it's a little bit more of a mystery. So it's another layer of mystery to them. But to me, maybe it's because I'm a basic brained idiot or something, but like, I think it clouds, and maybe this is 100% intentional, so I'm not even saying it's bad necessarily, but it just clouds the mystery of me personally liking what could be potentially the mystery of the wolf thing and all that. Like, the corruption aspect has been like this weird, like, because now we don't know if people are going mad because they just want to go mad, as far as like they just lose it, or it's some kind of form of corruption, or it's they die because of corruption, or they die because of a wolf attack, or they die because someone just decided to murder someone and take it in their own hands. Like, I get why, like, and again, I could be misinterpreting it all, but like, I would assume they have the corruption thing because they want people, both readers and the characters in the story, to be left in the dark and kind of questioning, like, what's the extent of what the corruption manifests as to people and what it can do and all this. But to me, it just adds too much, you know? I don't know. Maybe it won't be so bad at some point. Whatever. However, weaker levels of corruption cause madness. Mad guardians are wolves, while mad humans are yomibito.
つまり汚れの罰は狼にとって斬死のみを意味し、人には読み人と斬死の二通りあり得る。
That means that the corruption's punishment can only be slaughter for wolves and either slaughter or yomibito transformation for humans.
ご都合主義な妄想だ。
It's just a convenient delusion.
そう、証明する手立てはない。しかし最もらしさを積み上げることはまだできるぞ。
Indeed, I have no way to prove it, but I can make it seem more plausible.
もし狼が汚れで狂うというのならば、あんな姿になるのかね。人の皮をかぶった獣が狂ったならば。
If wolves go mad due to corruption, would they even look like Rikako-san does? These are beasts disguised as humans. They truly look like that if they'd gone mad?
私は獣は本性を表すと思うがね。けむくじゃらな本性を。リカコさんはそうなったかね。なっていない。
I think the beast would show their true selves, their bestial fury. Is that what happened to Rikako-san? No.
それはそうかもしれんです。
That might be true.
それじゃあ香織さんを先にすべきなのかね。
Then maybe we should hang Kaori-san first.
タエバ
Taiba?
野里さんはおとぎ話を前提にして話してる。実際に人が死んでいるのにだ。こんなの馬鹿げてるでしょ。
You're basing your decisions on fairy tales. We've had actual deaths here. This is ridiculous.
馬鹿げているのはどっちだ。汚れの恐怖を認めるならば、それは伝承を認めるということだ。
I'm the one who's ridiculous. To accept the fear, the corruption means to accept the legends.
そら私は認めたぞ。汚れを恐れつつ伝承を軽んじるのは二重基準ではないかね。え？
See? I've accepted it. Fear and the corruption while disregarding the legends is what's truly ridiculous, don't you think?
知恵ね。
Chieni.
私は神様が怖い。
I'm afraid of God.
こうして全てを手のひらの上でもてあそんでいる神様が怖い。
I'm afraid of this God who toys with us as we dance in his palm.
何を言ってるの？知恵ね。
What are you saying?
それでも、いや、それだからこそ。
Regardless of... No, because of that.
怖いものと戦わなきゃならなくて、戦うには武器が必要で。
We need to fight back against our fears. For that, we need weapons.
春明さん。
Haraki-san.
なんであいつ？
Huh? Why him?
私はヤス君。
Oh
君に
shit.
投票する。
I vote for you, Yasu-kun. What?
何
Oh
を
shit.
知恵ね
She's spinning the chessboard around. What? Chieni?
意味がわ からんぞ芹沢。
I'm not sure I understand you, Serizawa.
野里さん、ここから確定票を取って。いつまでも話し合っても無駄でしょ。
Misada-san, start the proper vote. There's no point in just talking. Oh, she's a lady of action. Huh? What?
いつかやらなきゃならないことだ。それに CNA が確定票を入れるなら僕らが入れないのはアンフェアだ。
This is going to happen sooner or later. And if she's truly casting her vote, it's only fair for us to cast ours.
でも許せるかどうかは別だよ、CNA。
But whether I can forgive you or not is another story, Chieni.
分かってる。
I know.
異論はないか。
No
ではこれから
objections?
確定票とする。
No objections? Let's begin the vote.
私の考えを言うね。野里さんの言い分は半分まで正しい。この場は狼を探すために使うべき。
Here's what I think. Misada-san is half right. We're supposed to search for wolves here.
ただ、その論拠が昔話の解釈なのは論外。モッチーや狼じじいや匠兄ちゃんは人間に殺されてるんだ。
But I'm completely against relying on the legends for evidence. Mochi, the old wolf guy, and Takumi Ni-chan all died at the hands of people.
ならば、昔話じゃなくて、今まであったことを振り返って考えるべき。
That's
そ
why,
れで私は考え
that's why we should look back over what's happened so far, instead of the legends. So how about this?
た。まず、私と同じように優先順位をちゃんとつけられる人は、この中で誰か。
First, who aside from me understood the purpose of the feast?
野里さんはさっき言った通り。メイコちゃんは若すぎて無理。はるちゃんは
Misada-san said it himself. Meiko-chan is too young to understand. And Haru-chan,
ぶっちゃけ野里さんへのアンチとヤスくんの味方をするだろうって思った。状況に関わらずね。
honestly, I think she'd oppose Misada-san and side with Yasukun regardless of the situation.
タエばあちゃんはきっと伝説やら何やら中心で語るだろうって分かってる。一等信心深い人だからね。
Taiba-chan would look to the legends, obviously. She's the biggest believer here.
じゃあヤスくんはどうだろう。辛いこともあったし、今はお母さんがくくられる寸前で焦る気持ちは分かる。
What about Yasukun, though? I know it's been hard for him. With his mom about to be hanged, I can understand why he'd panic.
だけどその対抗としてリカ子さんをくくる方向で進めちゃうのはどうかな。
But then, why push her Kaka-san's hanging?
休みずの人間なら確かに長者をくくる方向に誘導するのは簡単かもだけど、君には優先度ってものが分かってるはず。
It's easy for us Yasumisu people to justify hanging the village heads, but you should understand what comes first.
怪しい読み人なきにせなんて言葉より前に直接の脅威になり得る狼を探すべきってね。
Death of the damned Yomibito is the mandate. We should be looking for the immediate threat at hand, the wolves, before worrying about those words.
私の知ってるヤス君は切羽詰まっても理屈っぽくそんなことを言う人だった。
The Yasukun I know would keep a cool head, even in a crisis.
CNA、
Shani,
言いたいことは分かったよ。
I understand what you're saying.
僕は
I
こいつが許せないんだ。
I just can't forgive him.
あなたが適当なことを言って場をかき回すもんだから、匠兄も義継もモッチーも殺された。
Whenever you talk, it always makes a mess of things. Takumi ni, Yoshitsugu, and Mochi are dead because of you.
この後に及んで次は母さんだというあなたが許せないんだ。
And now you want to take my mother? I'm sick of you.
ちょっと兄ちゃんどうしたの。落ち着いて。
Nii-chan, what's wrong? Calm down.
ああ、そうだね。優先度なんて忘れてた。僕はこいつの鼻を明かしたかった。それでハルちゃんを利用したのさ。
So yeah, I forgot about the purpose of the feast. It was all just an act of petty revenge. I used Haru-chan for that.
CNA が言った通り、僕の本性はそれだけのつまらない人間だよ。
Like you said, that's all there is to me. I'm a pretty boring person.
これでも不満なの ?CNA。
Are you still not satisfied?
そうだね。らしくないとしか思わない。
Yeah, this is totally out of character for you.
ヤス君、これはきっと疑心暗鬼だと思う。でも言うね。
Yasukun, I'm probably just looking too deeply into it, but
香織さんが食事を出した時、安永君と春ちゃんはいなかったよね。
when Kaoru-san set the food, only you and Haru-chan were absent.
もし他の人があれで全滅してたら、残るは君たち二人だった。あとは春明さん。
If the others had all been poisoned as planned, you'd be the only survivors. Haruaki-san notwithstanding.
もしあなたが狼だったら、とても楽な展開だよね。
If you were a wolf, that'd be pretty good for you, right?
僕が母さんにあれをやらせたっていうのか、知恵ね。
Are you suggesting I convince Mom to poison everyone?
そうだったら最悪だって思うよ。
That'd be just the worst.
トリカブトを香織さんが取ったのはおそらく朝だよね。それ以外暇はなかったし、ずいぶん早起きだったし。
She probably got the wolf's bane early in the morning. She was too busy otherwise, and it did look like she woke up early.
その時からみんなを殺す気だった。夜の間に吹き込まれたとするなら、話はわかるよね。
By that point, she was already resolved to kill us. It's easy to imagine that someone had given her the idea the previous night.
そんな。でも夜に連絡する手は。
What? But we can't contact anyone at night.
狼は二人いる。
There are two wolves.
まさか。
What?
香織さんが唯一残った息子のために一人で汚れを被る覚悟で残る人の皆殺しを狙ったなら。
For the sake of her only living son, Kaoru-san was ready to kill everyone, even if it meant being subject to the corruption.
私も人だもん。
I guess... Let me read this. But I'm human. Okay, so... I guess on a gameplay level, like... Not only does the corruption add like another mystery layer to it, which I was describing just a while ago that I was like, not 100% sold on yet. But it's also supposed to be a thing to keep people in check. So that if they do go against the rules, right, then they're supposed to be punished. So that we... Like, it's supposed to be... It's almost like the corruption is the referee or the governing body, rules maker of like the village, right? Like it's supposed to be that, right? So I get why it's there. I'm just not 100% sold on it as far as the flow of the mystery, if that makes sense. That's what I want to try to like express. Anyway, but I'm human.
最後に狼と人が残っても投票にならない。春ちゃんは何もできない。
If you only had the wolves and a lone human at the end, votes would no longer matter. Haru-chan wouldn't be able to do anything.
嘘だよね。兄ちゃん。
No way, Nii-chan.
やすくん。
Yasukun?
ありえないんだ。
That's impossible.
だって母さんが狼だったら義継が死ぬわけがない。
I mean, if Mom were a wolf, Yoshitsugu wouldn't have died.
あいつを生かすために僕を殺すならありえたかもしれないけど。
She could have killed me to spare him, though.
僕が頼んだって聞いてくれるわけがないだろ。母さんは僕よりあいつの方が好きなんだから。
You think I convinced her to do that? She never listened. She loved him way more than me.
ちえねあんまりよ。兄ちゃんがお母さんにそんなこと言うはずないじゃん。
Chieni, this is cruel. There's no way he'd say anything like that to his mom.
別に私はヨシ君が殺されたとは言ってない。彼は単に夜出歩いて汚れを受けただけかもしれない。
I'm not saying the wolves killed Yoshikun. He might have just been out at night and killed by the corruption.
それに香織さんは狼じゃなくても息子が狼だって知ったら汚れを厭わず助けるかもしれない。
Also, even if she wasn't a wolf, she'd help her son even if it meant falling victim to the corruption.
そうやって都合のいいことを言って兄ちゃんをどんどん悪者にしようとしてるようにしか見えないわ。
Sounds like you're saying whatever you can to make Nii-chan into a bad guy.
どうしちゃったのよ、ちえね私たちのことはどんな時だって守ってくれてたじゃん。
What's wrong with you, Chieni? You always used to protect us.
あの人なの。
Was it him?
祭司さんがそうやって 言えって。あの人に出会ってチエネは変わっちゃったの。
Did Fusaishi-san tell you to say that? Did he make you change?
そんなことはない。
Did he corrupt you?
ただあの人の真似をして自分の頭で考えてみただけ。
No, he didn't. I'm just following his example and thinking for myself.
一番信じたくないことだって、それが真実である可能性からは目を背けるべきじゃないって。
Things I don't want to be true could actually be true, and I can't look away from them.
それで思いつきで僕に対して絶縁状と同じ一票を送ろうって言うんだね。
And so you decide to vote against me and ruin our friendship?
だって
I mean,
だってらしくないんだもん。そうやって脅しみたいなことを言うヤス君がさ。
listen to yourself. The Yasukun I know would never try to guilt me into submission like that.
私からしたら君だよ変わっちゃったように見えるのはさ。
If you ask me, you're the one who changed. Damn. Hit him with the, it's not me, it's you who changed.
で、結局どうするのかね。投票先は。
So, who will you vote for?
言ったことには責任を持たなきゃね。私はヤス君を疑ったからそれをちゃんと形に残すよ。
I need to take responsibility for what I said. I suspected Yasukun, and I'm sticking to that.
では、織部安永に1票だ。
One vote for Yasunaga Oribe.
順番がずれましたけど、席順で言えばタイバーが最初でしょ。タイバーどうする？
We messed up the order, but in terms of seating order, Taiba is first. How will you vote? Oh!
私は香織さんにするわよ。上松様は確かに狼とは思えん。
I will vote for Kaori-san. I don't think Uematsu-sama is a wolf.
あなたはどうします？野里さん。
What about you, Nosada-san?
それはあなたの。私の答えは変わらんよ。それどころ今の芹沢の言葉で気持ちが固まった。
So now you're being respectful. My answer doesn't change. In fact, Serizawa's words made me all the more certain.
織部安永、君が狼とは正直今の態度からは考えづらいが。
He's like, I'm doubling down.
可能性は高そうだ。
Yasunaga Oribe. In all honesty, your current attitude makes it hard to believe you're a wolf, but it's likely your mother is.
織部香織に1票。
One vote for Kaori Oribe.
君はどうするのかね。織部安永。
What about you, Yasunaga Oribe?
変わらず上松里香子さんです。
I'm still voting for Rikako Uematsu-san.
私も上松里香子に投票するわ。
I'm voting for Rikako Uematsu too.
子供は
The child. But
放棄でいいか。
can be ignored.
待って、メイコちゃんよく考えて。
Bribe her with
その
sweets.
勝ち負けが決まっちゃうかもしれないんだ
Fuck, do something. You need her number. Please. Wait, Meiko-chan, think. Your vote might decide whether the humans win or lose.
知恵ね、そこまでするのか。小さい子にデタラメを吹き込んで票を奪おうなんて。
Chiani, you'll go that far? You'll trick a child to take her vote? Hey, I think it's all fair, honestly. I need her number.
それしか手がないなら何だってする。メイコちゃん、リカコさんがいなくなったら嫌だよね。
If that's what it takes, I'll do it. Meiko-chan, you don't want Rikako-san to be gone, right? No.
だったら
Then
無駄だよ。僕に投票させたって3人同率で決着がつかないだけだ。
it's pointless. Even if she votes for me, it'll just be a three-way tie.
いらない人選ぶの？
I choose who I don't need?
そうよ。
Yes.
だったら
Then she's gonna say something ridiculous. She's about to say something ridiculous, isn't she? She's gonna say herself. She's gonna say fucking the main pro tag or something.
おばちゃん怖かったから。
I'll go with the lady. She was scary. Bam.
それは 食堂の女の人かね。
You mean the woman from the dining hall? Mm-hmm.
決まり。
Got her. Got her. Got her ass. It's decided then.
そんな
Oh no. He's gonna fucking lose it. No.
冗談だろ。そんないい加減なことで母さんが。
This has to be a sick joke. Mom will die because of something like this.
それでも一票は一票だ。
A vote is a vote.
兄ちゃん
Nii-chan,
終わった。
it's over. I heard muffled screams and sobs from the dining hall behind me. Gagged and tied, Kaoribe was still wailing. She couldn't move properly and had a pole fixed to her shoulders, but I was still worried enough to check every now and then. The lack of change helped calm my nerves, but at the same time I resented myself a bit for it. Quite a bit of time had passed since the feast had begun. What kind of decision would they make? The daily wolf lynching, hanging, had failed every single time so far. Considering the number of days remaining and how many people were left, if they messed up today, the humans would lose all hope of surviving. Wait, him saying that it failed every time. The daily wolf lynching, hanging, had failed every single time. How does he know? Does it? Oh, well. No one revealed themselves to be the crow, right? Ever. So they don't know the exact results. If he's just saying, well, it hasn't worked because we haven't killed both wolves, but they might have taken out one wolf might be dead, right? Again, unless it's a rule I'm missing or it was specified earlier, but as long as there's one wolf, killings would still be happening, right? So why is he assuming that it hasn't, that they haven't at least taken out one wolf, unless that he's just saying, well, we haven't gotten, like, both of them out yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much about it. But, I mean, that's standard fare for me, right? I overthink everything. You know that by now. Considering the number of days remaining and how many people were left, if they messed up today, the humans would lose all hope of surviving. If either Kaori Ribe or Rikako Imatsu ended up chosen, there would just be no chance anymore. Once I saw people leaving the hall, my mouth moved on its own.
終わった
It's done then. Their eyes were steady. They walked in my direction. Not to me, though, but to the dining hall.
香織さんを選んだのか
You chose Kaori-san? I asked anyway. I was speaking to the last representative of sanity in this place, Kyonosuke Nosato.
どけ。
Move. We didn't even converse. His tone and the look in his eyes were different from usual. His usual arrogant pride was gone, and in its place stood a deadly determination.
安永君
Yasunaga-kun,
僕は
I
負け
lost.
ました
I lost.
ハルちゃん
Haru-chan,
私は嫌だって言った
I was against it.
おばあさん
Oba-san,
新内様のおぼし飯じゃ。
it's the will of Shinai-sama.
ちえみ
Chiemi.
春明さんはこの子
Haruaki-san, take the girl. I don't know why I stuttered there. Meiko was at the rear of the group. Somewhat hesitantly, she walked up to me. I moved aside to let them pass. They all entered the dining hall and dragged out the victim. The ones holding the ropes and doing the dragging were Kyonosuke Nosato and Chiemi Sarazawa. Following behind was Tei Yamawaki, prodding her onward with a bamboo broom. Damn. Old lady takes the broom and is like, I'm gonna start. Boop, boop, boop.
やめろ
Stop. As his mother cried out in pain, Yasunaga Oribe followed the group, hand in hand with Haru Makishima.
止めろ
Stop them. Haru Makishima was bawling. Yasunaga Oribe was shaking, not even trying to hide his sobs. His face was warped in anguish.
誰か
Someone. As the group faded away, the gag fell out and the victim's voice grew loud. Lovely. Not a scrap of reason remained, only raw terror. or perhaps madness. Oh, please, someone, beg for her life. However, I didn't hear any pleas to the very end, and I painfully realized I wasn't participating in the feast. I wasn't part of this life selection game bound by otherworldly rules. But
見るな。
don't look. I turned Mako away, hugged her, and covered her ears. Because of that, I couldn't cover my own. Parent-like dedication. What a weird idea. Anyway, as the group disappeared into the mist, I somehow felt as though the screams or laughs grew even clearer. I was subjected to this illusion until the very end. During the final moments, the mother called out her son's name. It was the name of the elder son, and he responded by calling for his mother. But at the very last moment, it felt like the victim shouted out a different name. Ooh, there was a strange sound followed by silence.
メコ。
Mako. Mako's body was surprisingly warm. In response, she just nodded.
明日僕と一緒にここを逃げよう。
Let's escape from this place tomorrow. She nodded again.
植松里香子は諦めるんだ。
Give up on Rikako Uematsu. Mako started crying. I let her go, took her by the hand, and led her to the dorm. There, I took all the remaining food I had. Then, I escorted her back to her place.
鍵をかけて明日の朝僕が迎えに来るまでじっとしてるんだ。
Lock up. I'll come pick you up tomorrow morning. Still crying, she nodded.
これをちゃんと食べるんだぞ。
Eat this. All of it, okay? I gave her some food and closed the door. Once I turned around, I saw them.
今日の宴は終わった。
Today's feast is over. There wasn't a hint of emotion in his voice.
そうですか。
I see. As one who didn't participate in the feast, I was in no position to criticize or support them. They just turned around and returned to their places, leaving no indicator whether they'd actually heard me. 3 of them were headed in the same direction. I didn't feel like joining them, instead casting a glare at their backs as I walked. My powerlessness was killing me. Under the assumption I would die tomorrow, I decided I would go through the mist down to Saranaga, a strict taboo here. What kind of death would that get me? Would I be injured? Wander to some other world? Something else entirely? Or perhaps I'd be eaten by a monster? I still had that incomprehensible memory, but it was enough to make me suspect that was the most likely scenario. Normally, people didn't remember dying. The unknown was scary, but journeying into the unknown meant conquering that fear, so you could say there was some perks to remembering that death. But if it was guaranteed that I would die like that, I wasn't really keen on the idea. That had hurt like hell, not to mention how terrifying the experience was.
じゃあマシな死に方を考える。
Then think of a better way to die.
もっと痛くない死に方。
One that won't hurt so much.
あるいは痛みと引き換えになるような何かを成し遂げる死に方。
Or at least would be worth the pain. Like if it led to the survival of a young child. Anyway, I'd wager my life. All that remained was finding supporters. I closed my eyes and took a few deep breaths. Whoosh! I threw a Yakuza kick into the wall. Then I did a low kick with the other leg. Not gonna try to replicate that. The 7 treasures have finally been lost to the elements the sacred orb reduced to rust. In the jungle of the decadent void, the Buddha's corpse shouts out, Ow! Whoosh, whoosh. As I sang the Buddha's ash rock, I attacked the wall with my ass. What? You attacked the wall with my ass? Ass attack? Which prompted a response from the other side.
うるさい。
Why is our guy so lame? Shut up! I heard Chiami's angry voice through the front door.
ちょっと声が笑ってるぞ。
You sound like you enjoyed it.
あんなん誰だって反応に困るけど。
No one would know how to react to that. Balls here were thin, apparently.
まあとりあえず明日逃げよっか。
Anyway, let's escape tomorrow.
どんな流れで何を言い出してるの？
This your idea of a conversation?
それだけツッコミができるなら十分正気でしょう。脱出脱出。クレイジーゾーンからおさらばしようぜ。
If you can still talk like that, you're perfectly sane. Escape it is. Let's say bye-bye to this nest full of crazy.
あのね、春明さん。
Listen, Haraki-san,
僕は本気だ。
I'm serious. Still outside my door, she fell silent. It was only about 8, still a safe time. I walked up to the door and unlocked it.
ひどい顔。
Damn, you look awful.
そんなに？
Is it that bad?
嘘。
Nah, just joking.
何その軽妙なふっかけ。彼氏か。
What's with the jokes? You my boyfriend now or something?
君の切り返しも本調子に見えるけど、でもそんな仮面の下に超常的苦悩を隠してんだろ。全部吐いちゃえよ。
You put on a tough face, but it's a mask hiding some supernatural suffering, isn't it? Come on, talk to me.
まあ吐かなくてもいい。とりあえず座れば。
Well, don't if you don't want to. Take a seat.
お邪魔します。
Pardon the intrusion. Alone in an empty room, we sat cross-legged and looked at each other.
今日の宴の内容を教えて。
Tell me what happened during the feast today.
結局誰なんだ。
Who are
狼は。
Who are the wolves?
もうわかんない。というかもう誰でもいい。
I don't know. Hell, I don't even care anymore. The situation was hopeless. She felt the same way. So far, there wasn't a single lynching with a good reason behind it, and it didn't feel like they'd gotten lucky and killed a wolf.
いっそあの青ビオタンが狼ならな。すっきり憎めるのに。
If only that scrawny rich guy were a wolf. It'd be so easy to hate him.
匠さんからお墨付きが出てる以上、その可能性はとても低い。
Takumi-san said he's clean, so that's not likely.
知ってる。
I know. But still, assuming Yasunaga-kun was actually a wolf, I really doubted he was cold hard enough to keep up the act of a human while seeing off his mother to her death. Like Chiami had pointed out, it was best to assume Kaori-san had only done what she did for her son. If everyone died and only one was left, he'd be the victor regardless if he was human or wolf. Probably. Whatever the case, it was important to note that it was wrong to guess whether Yasunaga-kun was a wolf based on this alone. Kaori Oribe was in a messed up mental state that led her to plot the deaths of herself and everyone else just to save her son. It was simply the immense power of motherly love at work. I'd messed it up by sending Haru-chan to the second floor. Kaori-san probably resented me for that. Not to mention I was the one who'd pinned her down. Being the target of a dead person's enmity was a rare experience. And in my opinion, it was uncomfortable.
やっぱ私には無理だったな。春明さんの真似は。
Turns out I couldn't follow your example.
僕の
My
真似。
my example?
うん。考えていろいろやってみたけど。
Yeah, I tried to think and did stuff, but, well, was I a bad influence on her? Well, carefully deliberating your actions was never a bad thing, obviously. Also, it's worth noting she pointed out that Yasunaga-kun trying to guilt trip her wasn't like him. Her own intuition was important too. Besides him, there was Tai-san, who believed nothing but the superstitions, Haru-chan, who always agreed with Yasunaga-kun, and Meiko, the one who sealed Kaori-san's fate.
みんな怪しいな。
Everyone is suspicious.
だからもう誰でもいい。
Yeah, that's why I don't care who it is anymore. Chemi hung her head.
メイコちゃんは助けてやることに決めてるんだけど。
I've decided to help Meiko-chan.
どうやってここを出て無理だって言ってんじゃん。
How? By running away with her? I'm telling you, it's pointless.
待ってて確実に死ぬよか良くないか。彼女が狼だったら一人減らせてラッキーかもよ。
It's better than just sitting around waiting for death, isn't it? And if she turns out to be a wolf, you'd be down to one. Lucky day, huh?
なのかな。もうわかんない。
Would it be? I don't know anymore.
人殺しちゃった。
I killed someone. She said it casually, but I could tell that was hard for her to say.
君は悪くないさ。
It's not your fault. I responded equally casually. Felt like breaking the illusion would be too much to handle.
軽っ。
Wow, it's like you don't care at all.
そもそも君は反対したろ。
But you were against it, weren't you?
一応殺人を止めなかったってことはそれに賛同したってことじゃない。
Not stopping the murder makes me a partner in crime, doesn't it?
それは僕も同じだし。
I'm the same in that regard.
ああ、そっか。
Oh, right.
それに異常な状況下で異常な決断をしてしまうことに法はある程度理解を示すんじゃないかな。
Also, the law would understand that you made the wrong decisions because of the circumstances.
ほうね
Law, huh?
どうにしたってまともな法で裁かれるなら意味不明な山の掟に裁かれるより億倍マシでしょう。
Well, being punished under a proper rule of law is infinitely better than being punished by some weird laws of some mountain.
それともちえみちゃんはむしろ超常的な死を遂げたいのか？
Or what? Do you want to die a supernatural death? Yes.
どれも的を外してるってところか。
No dice, huh? Yeah. Man, this is complicated.
神様ってやつのせいか。
Is it God's fault?
半分はそう。
Half of it, yeah.
もう半分は説明しづらい。
But you can't explain the other half. Right.
じゃあ神様の方を話してよ。
Then talk about God at least.
どう言えばいいのかな。
How do I put this?
神様は不幸なんだ。
God is misfortune.
ん？
Hmm?
いや、辞書的な意味で不幸のことをそう呼んでるわけじゃなくて、そのね、
Well, I don't mean that literally. It's just that
神様がいるからどうやっても私たちは幸せになれない。
it's because of God that we can't attain happiness.
それは目に見えるもの？
Is God visible?
私たちはみんな見てる。でも本質は目に見えないものかも。
Yeah, we've all seen it, but its true form might be invisible.
目に見える部分について聞こう。
Let me ask about the visible part.
それは人間？
Is it human? Though slowly and hesitantly, she gave me a light nod.
それは安水の誰か？
Is it someone from Yasumisu? Silence. Neither yes or no.
じゃあ上藤吉の人間？
Then, is it someone from Kami Fujiyoshi? She kept her silence. Her shoulders were shaking a bit.
じゃあ
違う、
Then,
やっぱ違う。人間じゃない。人間をどうしたって神様はどうにもならない。
no, no, no. It's not human. You can deal with humans, but God is beyond them. Shit, I knew it'd go like this.
落ち着いて説明するんだ。じゃないと僕も君もやられる。
Calm down and explain. Otherwise, we'll both be killed.
いっそ殺してくれればいい。こんなひどい夢とっとと終わらせてほしいのに。ね
Fine. I just want this nightmare to be over already.
え、春明さん、私を殺して。あなたの手なら私死ねる気がする。
Hey, Haruaki-san, kill me. If it's at your hands, I think I can really die.
何言い出すんだ。しっかりしろ。
What are you saying? Get a hold of yourself.
私しっかりしてる。私は汚れてなんかない。私は狂ってない。狂ってなんかおかしいのは。
I am. I'm not corrupted. I'm not insane. I'm not.
おかしいのは藤吉全部よ。おかしいのは神様の方よ。
It's Fujiyoshi that's crazy. It's God that's crazy.
神様とは状態のことなのか？
Is God some state of being? Tell me! I don't understand God! I just kind of blurted out something without thinking. Chiemi was clearly in a state of panic. The despair was one cause, but someone panicked like this couldn't explain themselves properly. Also, didn't feel like this was simply some spiritual being she could see. She could perceive God as a sensation of sorts, and the facts others couldn't caused her to panic. Explaining a sense like that wasn't easy, and trying to explain it in detail was also a reminder of how much it scared her. I had to try and understand what she was sensing and find a better word for it than God. That was what I thought to myself after saying those words, but why did she suddenly go quiet? She was raising her head, and her eyes were wide, staring right at me. She completely stopped voicing her pain. Did I hit the nail on the head? As I considered that possibility, I felt a cold, damp breeze from behind me. She wasn't staring at me. She was staring at something behind me. I turned around, following the direction of her eyes. How long had the front door been open? Oh no. Had I forgotten to lock the door? Whoa! What am I looking at? Whoa. Pause. I'm trying to get a good look at this. What? Who? Huh? And how long had that thing been there? There was a person outside. Was it even human? I wonder the same thing. Through the darkness, I could see that it definitely had a humanoid silhouette, but it was definitely abnormal. Its body was covered in bandages. No, sutras. It was a smallish boy or girl covered in marked cloth. Again, was it even human? I asked the same question again, unable to even voice the words. I couldn't move a finger, or rather, I didn't because I had no idea what would have happened if I did. As the tension began to overwhelm me, I saw its lips move. Oh, he got a distorted voice? The wolves cometh. To the smell of Yomi. Cleanse, shelter, and dream. Daughter of Fushioshi. Ow! A howl. I heard something fall. Turning back around, I realized it was Chiemi. Chiemi! Still confused, I rushed over and caught her. It was a momentary loss of consciousness. She hadn't fainted, she just seemed to be drifting at the border of reality. Hey, wake up! Why am I here? What was that thing? What then? Weird. I'm so sleepy. Sorry, I'm going back. Shimmy stood up. Her eyes were utterly devoid of life. She headed to the door. It was closed. There was no one there. There's only one explanation for who that being was at the door. And that's the store clerk from the very beginning of the game. Trust me. I set that matter aside for now. Jimmy was way more important. I had to stop her. That was why I'll take you out of here. Wrapped my arms around her. If you want to throw away your life, give it to me. Tomorrow morning, I'll take you and Mako and leave this place. If you're dead, then who's gonna ride my bike with me? You and Mako? Not just you? That was her first response in a while. Well, you entrusted her to me. I'll honor the trust you showed me until the end. Man of integrity, huh?
でしょ。実は子供を見殺しにするのは他よりも気分が悪いって打算もあったりするんだ。
You noticed? Well, there's also the fact that I'm just not too keen on letting a child die.
悪ぶれてないよ、春秋さん。あと、いつの間にか呼び捨てになってる。
You dropped the tough guy act, Haruaki-san. Also, when did you drop the honorific?
嫌だった？
You don't like it?
嫌じゃないけど、けじめというか、区切りは欲しいな。
I don't mind. It's just, shouldn't there be a transition point for these kinds of things?
僕と付き合って。
Go out with me.
いいよ。
Sure.
だから一緒に逃げよ
So, let's get out of here.
わかった。
Okay.
言っておくけど、一緒に死んでもいいって意味だから。メイコちゃんのことは悪いけどあんま考えてないし。
Just so you know, I'm only saying that because I don't mind dying with you. Sorry, but Mako-chan's barely a blip on my radar. Okay, well, I guess fuck Mako then.
う。自分に責任持てよ。
She said fuck the children. That's not very responsible, is it?
ちえみさんどうも脳に問題があるっぽいから、年長者に頼っちゃいたい。
Chemi-san is a girl with many brain problems, so she prefers to rely on people older than her.
任せろ。あと、他に希望者がいたら連れて行くから。
Leave it to me. Also, we're taking anyone who wishes to join us.
私は特別扱いじゃないんだ。
What? I'm not getting some special treatment here?
特別扱いだよ。他は任意だけど、君とは付き合った以上、踏んじばってでも連れて行く。
You are. The others have a choice, but now that we're dating, I'm taking you whether you like it or not. This has been an absurd string of an exchange, honestly, in my opinion. Kind of crazy. What's going on?
微妙。
I mean, I know it's supposed to all kind of be, I don't want to say goofy, but it's all supposed to be like, they just kind of had a moment and now they're kind of like playfully going back and forth with each other, but not sure I'm happy about that one.
知ってるか？僕はモテないんだ。
Did you know I'm actually not a very popular guy? Oh, I never would have guessed.
春秋さん、
Haruaki-san,
ありがとう。
thanks. Her teary voice compelled me to embrace her.
私が今夜狼に殺されたら。
If I'm killed by the wolves tonight,
言うな。
don't say that.
私の何でもいいから、どこか一部だけでも外に連れてって。
I don't care what. Take a part of me outside.
心配するな。
Don't worry.
怖いよ。
I'm scared.
僕がいる。
I'm right here.
僕がいるから。
I'm here for you. It hurt to say baseless things. Even so, I kept on saying whatever I could to make her feel better. This went on for only 10 or so minutes, though. Even if the wolves didn't pay us a visit, we'd have to respect the rules of living here. Okay, so did I misunderstand? Was the being at the door a real thing or not? Did they just see it? Did they just ignore it and it go away? They just said they talked for 10 minutes? Chemi stood up, her eyes were utterly devoid. She headed to the door, it was closed. There was no one there. Oh. Did I miss that line somehow? Okay, so the thing was gone. So it was there for a second, and then they were like, what was that thing? What then? Weird. I'm so sleepy. Okay, so he did. Okay, I clearly read the voice out loud. I must have just blanked out. I was so thrown off because, oh my god, that whole exchange. I think I entered like the delusion zone when they had that exchange because I just forgot that so they saw the thing, she saw the thing, she was looking at it, he turns around, he sees that the door's open and that weird thing's there, and then she faints, I think, and then he goes, huh, looks back, she goes, he's like, I gotta catch her because she's my girlfriend now, so he catches her, then he goes, he says here, what was that thing? And she's like, huh, and then her eyes, and then she heads to the doors. It was closed. There was no one there. Is it a group delusion they had? What? And then they had this weird exchange. Fucking, I don't find it cute at all. I'm not a willing participant of this relationship or them together. I don't care. They should have asked me for my opinion. He doesn't deserve her, honestly, and he doesn't deserve her, and I don't even think that highly of her. I just think so poorly of him. You know what I mean? Hi. All right, I gotta go take some medicine. I gotta also go to the restroom and stretch my legs. I'm gonna keep reading, but give me just a handful of minutes. I'm on like a pretty like strict like schedule with a certain medication I'm taking over the next week, so I gotta go do that. Give me a handful of minutes. We'll come back, and yeah, we'll continue reading and see what the fuck. I'm not mad. I'm not out of it completely, but I'm also just like, you know, when I say like, yeah, we'll just see what the fuck, you know? That's a good way of putting it. I'll be right back. Give me a handful of minutes here. Clear my throat. I'm coming back. Alright. Oh, shit. My thing. My water. Okay. We ready? To continue reading. Question mark? Even if the wolves didn't pay us a visit, we'd have to respect the rules of living here. Oh, shit. I was going to shed another layer of clothing. Too late, I already sat down. Okay, we awkwardly exchanged some parting words, and I saw her off as she returned to her room, her parting ways with a frail smile on her damp face. Tomorrow. Everything would be decided tomorrow. Tomorrow, me and my new girlfriend are out of here. Another morning. Aside from being really hungry, I woke up the same as always. I bet she dies. I bet she's done. Jimmy dead is my assumption here. Aside from being really hungry, I woke up the same as always. I hadn't died. The only real difference this morning was that I could go outside as I pleased. It was still misty out, and I couldn't see much beyond the dorm. A settlement isolated mist, a space cut away from the world. Could we really leave this place? We could. It had to be physically possible. The idea that we couldn't was just speculation. No matter how much this place defied reality. What was that thing? Why had Chiemi collapsed? How sane were we? Was this even really happening? Human senses and memories often lied to us, though just dismissing anything that didn't make sense as an illusion wasn't a good idea. That thing had actually visited us. Its appearance was strange, but I had little proof that it was something supernatural. Thus, that had to be human. As for the reason Chiemi collapsed, there are quite a few possibilities. Unless it was a trick she schemed up with that thing beforehand, that being had to have been too much for her to handle emotionally. What did that thing say again? The wolves cometh to the smell of Yomi, cleanse, shelter, and dream, daughter of Fujiyoshi. Was it? It basically seemed like a fancy way of saying get back to your room and sleep. So it was a warning from those who made the rules. Then, was that something on the mountain, Great Lord Shinai's side? No, to be honest. I would say it was more like something from the other side. I mean, it kind of fit my image of Yomibito. It wore sutras in place of clothing, and the cloth over its face reminded me of a funeral shroud. The word corruption seemed particularly fitting. It had a really sinister aura, to me, anyway. Though, that was strange. Great Lord Shinai was the enemy of the forces from Yomi. Yomibito wouldn't act as his messengers. This contradiction, it was quite eerie, an alluring unknown. But that didn't matter now. My goal was to let Chiemi and any supporters we gathered escape. I returned to the room, made my futon, and started searching again. The futon was the only thing in the closet. There was nothing I could use as a weapon. I gave up, left the room, and went to Chiemi's. If the worst had come to pass, I had to fulfill her last request. The door was locked. I knew it. Oop, cut him off, Barry. So the wolf was... I knocked. She came out just after a few seconds. Apparently, she was already ready to go. I want a weapon. I figured. She gave me a pretty large knife with a sheath, probably used for hunting. Got anything for yourself? I lost my kitchen knife, so you'll have to protect me, alright? Sure. I had zero confidence in pulling it off, but sometimes bravado is important to hold on to. My new girlfriend doesn't want to see me weak. We went to Haruchan's room. It wasn't locked. The room was no bigger than the others, but it was a huge mess. But it didn't look like there was a corpse present. She'd either already woken up and went outside without locking the door, or her corpse was somewhere outside, like Yoshisugu-kun. I'd gained a habit of expecting the worst. What about Yasunaga-kun? The same. Let's check on Mako. Today's mist was denser than usual. Just extending my arm was enough to make my hand hazy and indistinct. I kept on walking, knife in my right hand and Chiami's hand in my left. The settlement was way too quiet. We headed for the village plaza. I almost tripped a few times on the field paths, but Chiami kept me on my feet with just a few warnings. I could keep going as long as she was with me. We arrived at the plaza. I had to double hit the button there. There was no one there. Basically, there was no need to use the dining hall as the go-to gathering spot anymore. We passed Rikako Uematsu's house. It didn't look unlocked, but I couldn't hear any indications of movement from inside. Was she asleep? Or did something happen to her? Whatever the case, I had no choice but to ignore her.
ここだっけ?
It was here, right?
うん
Yeah. Mako's place was open? Thankfully, all I found inside was just a messy futon. It was the same as Haruchan's room. But now that it happened with 3 people, it was safe to assume something wasn't right.
ちえみ、悪いけどこれ返す。
Chiemi, sorry, but you can have this back.
え?
Huh? I gave her the knife and grabbed a stick lying against the house. Ah, the old Roxas method. He's got a big stick attack. Don't worry about it.
どういうこと
What's wrong?
実際に使える武器がいるから。それより、どこを目指そう？
I need a weapon I can actually use. That aside, where do we go next?
やっぱりお堂かな
The hall, right? As it turned out, that was exactly where the other inhabitants were. With the exception of one, anyway.
遅かったねいや私らが早すぎたか
You're late. Or maybe we're early. Haru Makishima. She was in her usual agitated state. Tai Yamawaki. She was silently chanting something to herself. Mako. Haru-chan had her hands on her shoulders, but she still looked anxious. And finally...
おはよう。
Good morning, Chieni.
それに、久石春明さん。
And Haruaki Fusaishi-san. Yasunaga, Oribe. His face was grim. Those were all the people here, meaning that...
ついに野里さんか
So they finally got Nosata-san, huh? A simple process of elimination was enough to know who was gone. Anyway, it was time for the first battle.
メイコ、おいで。
Mako, come here. Bah. She tried to walk to us. No! But Haru Makishima stopped her. It was time. I raised my stick. Oh, for fuck's sake, this is gonna be a disaster. Alright, it was time. I raised my stick, and... Huh?
本性を表しましたか、久石さん。
So you finally revealed your true colors, Fusaishi-san. Yasunaga Oribe stood in my way. He had a menacing-looking grass sickle in his right hand. He readied it for a swing at me. Oh my god, we've all got fucking weapons, dude.
あなたが全ての不幸の根源だ。最後だと思って今朝、実力に訴えるのは予想してましたよ。
You're the cause of all the misery here. It's the end, so I knew it would come down to pure strength.
嘘何
No way. Huh? What?
知恵ねえは騙されてたんだ。この人が汚れの元凶だよ。この人を宴に混ぜないのは失敗なんだ。
You were tricked. He's the one who caused all this. Not letting him join the feast was a mistake.
この人をくくってれば、母さんも義継もみんな死ななくてよかった。
If we hanged him, Mom, Yoshitsugu, and everyone else would still be alive.
待って
Wait, that's...
今日はこの人をくくるんだ。そうすれば全部終わるから。
we'll hang him today. That'll end everything.
安永くん、よくないな。誰も知らないストーリーを軸に大事な話を進めたら。
Yasunaga-kun, you shouldn't try to advance the situation based on a story no one knows.
あなたもでしょ。どうして急に殴りかかろうとしたの？
What about you? Why did you try to attack?
おお、そりゃそうだ。ちなみに行動理由は人質奪還ね。
Oh, good point. I'll tell you. I want to take back the hostage.
だからそれは
But that's...
まあその前に、ここで混乱の極みを味わっているちえみちゃんにフォローをしておく許可をくれよ。
Well, before that, let me just help Chiemi-chan understand. Look how confused she is. Huh? What? They didn't say another word. Chiemi and Meiko were the only ones who seemed confused at all. Basically, the others had prepared for this.
誰が狼かはさておいて、まず大事なことは2つ。
Ignoring who's a wolf here, there's two important things you gotta keep in mind.
まず、昨日僕はメイコに対してこの集落を脱出することを持ちかけた。それは昨日、皆に聞かれたと考えるべき。
First, yesterday, I told Meiko that I wanted to escape the settlement with her. It's best to assume everyone heard that.
村からの脱走は禁忌。それは知ってる。問題は、村からの脱走をみすみす見逃す側も、汚れの対象になるかどうかって点。
Escaping the village is taboo. I know that. The question is whether letting someone escape makes you a target of the corruption.
だから早朝にメイコの身柄を押さえた。これはまあ話としてわかる。
That was why you secured Meiko first thing in the morning. I can totally understand that.
もう一つ。昨日、ちえみと安永くんは対立関係になった。そのままならば、今日の宴では両者の一騎打ちだ。
The thing is that Chiemi and Yasunaga-kun ended up on opposing sides yesterday. Owing to that, today's feast would be a one-on-one between them. Chiemi and Yasunaga-kun ended up on opposing sides, yes.
基本的には、
Okay,
はる
I'm
ちゃ
on
んの
I'm on
票
the
を
same page.
ほ
I'm
ぼ
on this
確定票で抑えている安永くんが有利だろう。
Since Haru-chan would almost always take Yasunaga-kun's side, he'd have an advantage.
しかし、タエさんとメイコという不動票がある以上、確定じゃない。
But with Tai-san and Meiko as swing votes, his victory wasn't guaranteed.
だから、ちえみと和解して、唯一の部外者である僕を狙うのが、一番安全確実だと踏んだんだよね。
That's why you decided that reconciling with Chiemi and going after the only outsider here was the safest way, right?
違
You're wrong.
う。違わない。だから僕を黙らせるために、メイコを人質に取っている。
I'm not. That's why you took Meiko as a hostage. You want me silenced.
違う。あなたがこの子を人質にとって僕らにひどい要求をすると思ったから。
No, I just thought you'd take her as a hostage and ask her to do horrible things.
僕にそんなことをして何の得がある？ぶっちゃけ僕は宴には関わってない。君だって納得してたはずだ。
What would I gain from that? I mean, I'm not part of the feast. You agreed to that yourself, didn't you?
それが間違いだったんですよ。じゃあこの場の他の誰が元凶だって言うんですか？
That was a mistake. If it's not you, then who else could be the cause of everything here?
僕もハルちゃんも家族を失った。タイバーだってタクミさんを失った。
Haru-chan
みん
and
な大事な誰かを失ってる。
Haru-chan and I lost family. Taiba lost Takumi-san. We all lost people important to us.
じゃあ失ってないのは
And who
あなた
didn't
だけだ。久石春明さん。
and who didn't lose anything? Only you, Haruaki Fusaishi-san. Oh, so that was the story, huh? Sorry, Yasunaga-kun. But you're a bad storyteller. I'm unconvinced.
君は嘘とか無茶を言うときに雄弁になる癖があるみたいだね。
Sorry, I was taking a sip of water there. I thought he would keep reading for a sec there. You seem to have a habit of putting up a wall of well-spoken words when lying or putting on an act.
ふざけるのは大概にしてください。
Please stop messing around.
さすがに今はおふざけは自重してるよ、安永くん。君は人を感情で動かそうとしすぎている。
Oh, but I'm not. Yasunaga-kun, you're trying way too hard to manipulate people using their emotions.
そしてちえみのことも舐めている。君の言動のおかしなところを感情論で押し切れると思っている。
You also underestimate Chiemi by thinking you can just use that as a smokescreen for the holes in your story.
確かに全ての悪事を僕のせいにすれば 感情的には収まりがつくだろ
Well, from an emotional standpoint, blaming me for everything is definitely the easiest way.
う。しかし一方で、君は自分のキャラを大事にしなさすぎだ。冷静沈着。年上の暴論にも理屈でこうするキャラをね。
But on the other hand, you're selling yourself short. You're calm, cool, collected, type of guy who argues against adult absurdity with facts and logic.
勝手な分析やめてください。
Please stop this pointless analysis.
まあ、それは10年だか何年だか、君を見てきた村の方々が決めることだ。僕や君が決めるものじゃない。
Well, that's something for the villagers to decide, not me. They're the ones who've watched you for years.
もちろん君だって、心境の変化があってもおかしくないほど、辛い体験をしたっていうのはわかる。
Of course, I understand you went through something difficult enough to change you.
じゃあ、聞いてみようよ。
Then let me ask you this.
君が完全に理性を失って、僕というよそ者に怒りを向けているのか。
Are you blaming everything on the outsider because you've lost to your own emotions?
あるいはとても冷静に、僕をくくって今日の宴を空振りさせ、自分の有利にことを運ぼうとしてるのか。
Or are you actually acting rationally to make sure you hang me and waste today's feast so you can tip the scales in your favor?
つまり、昼の死刑を回避して得をする陣営の人間なのか。
As in, are you someone who'd benefit from wasting today's lynching?
どっちだと思う、チエミ。
What do you think, Chiemi? She gasped and looked at Yasunaga Uribe. There was suspicion in her eyes, not trust.
言えばよかったんだ。僕のことを狼だと。
You could have just said that I was a wolf.
それでも言わなかった。あくまで元凶と言い続けた。自分が狼だと知っているから。
Yet you didn't. You just said I'm the cause of all this. Because you're a wolf, yourself.
嘘をつくのが苦手なんだろう。かといって勝負どころじゃ、つかなきゃならない嘘はつかなきゃダメなんだよ。
You hate lying, don't you? You know, when the chips are down, you have to commit to the lie.
チエネ、こんな奴のことを信じるの？
Chieni, you're gonna believe him?
そうやって理屈に対して感情論しか準備してないのは君の甘いところだ。君は最後まで理屈で戦うべきだった。
Making an emotional appeal in the face of cold logic is a bad move here. You need to fight logic with logic until the end.
うさい。あんたに何がわかる？ヘラヘラしてるだけで何もしなかった。できなかったくせに。
Shut up. What do you know? You just wasted time not doing anything because you couldn't. He had a point there. I did feel like shit about that. I should have joined the feast from the get-go. If I had, I wouldn't have wasted time on pointless arguments and autopsies. However,
僕はな、
you know,
自分で考える頭を持ってたくせに早々に迷信におもねって弟と母親を見殺しにした君に対して。
right here, there's a guy who can think for himself, but just played along with some dumb superstition, letting both his brother and mother die.
一人の大人として率直に怒ってるんだぜ、安永君。
As an adult, I'm really mad at him. Yasunaga-kun. Once I said that, Yasunaga Uribe hung his head and fell silent. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. 10 seconds of silence were enough for everyone to realize he'd lost the argument. However, the expression on his face was abnormally calm.
確かに僕は狼ですが。
True, I really am a wolf. He spoke as if it wasn't a big deal.
あなたはいくつか勘違いをしてる。
But you are misunderstanding a few things. But that just made it seem even more abnormal.
もう僕らは勝ってるんですよ。
We've already won. He tossed away the grass sickle. His voice wasn't nearly as passionate as before. It was cold and rational. He demonstrated confidence rooted in sound logic. But I couldn't understand what he meant.
もう一人の狼、出てきてください。
Other wolf, please reveal yourself. What was the point of that?
いいね、ヤス君。
Are you sure, Yasu-kun?
ええ、もういいです。
Yes, that's enough. Oh, it was me all along.
私がもう一人の狼よ。
I'm the other wolf. I couldn't make sense of this. Had he decided to graciously concede by selling out his partner now that he'd been cornered? No, he said he'd already won. Even if there were 2 wolves, there were 4 of us. They'd lose in votes. My answer came from a completely unexpected direction.
兄ちゃん
Nii-chan.
兄ちゃんやっぱりタイバーと兄ちゃんが狼様だったんだね
Nii-chan, you and Taiba really are the wolves? A shout of pure, unadulterated joy. Haru Makishima became the least comprehensible of anyone present. She ran to Yasunaga Uribe and hugged him. He hesitated for a moment, but reciprocated. Meiko, still as clueless as ever, slowly walked over to us.
お兄ちゃん
Oni-chan,
ごめんな。お姉ちゃんに隠れときな。
I'm sorry. Hide behind Shiemi.
ヤキさんこれって一体
Haruaki-san, what is this?
わからん。
I don't know. I really didn't. But I'd had a feeling that something wasn't quite right for a while now, and I suspected it to be made clear now. I was certain of it, and it left me feeling uneasy.
OK。主導権は君に移った。
Okay,
説明を聞かせてもらえるかな。
I don't want to say it, partly because I don't want to say it if I'm wrong, and I probably don't want to give it away if it's like something that's going to be revealed soon or is like a thing. But just like in, again, I hate to keep bringing it up, but Genosha, there is a role. If they're talking about pure numbers thing, there's a role that like aids the wolves or the Genosha in that game. That maybe that would explain the numbers here kind of thing. Where you're not a wolf, but you're not the ultimate evil, but you want the bad side to succeed. That might be what's happening here. Also, look at that smirk Haru has. She's enjoying this way too much. Get her out of here. Okay, you have the initiative here. Can you explain?
タエバお願い。
Taiba, you do it.
もうずっとヤス君には頼りっぱなしだったからね
Fine, fine. I've been relying on you too much all this time. So she wasn't even denying it.
ちーちゃんメイコちゃん
Shi-chan, Meiko-chan. Not me.
これは話しちゃおらんかったけどね
This is something I never told ya.
昔ずーっと昔に私が娘だった頃に上富士吉の門が山祭りで酔って言うとったのよ
A long, long time ago, when I was still a girl, Kami Fujiyoshi's people got drunk.
読み意味の宴についての本当のお話をね
And revealed the truth behind the feast of the Yomi Purge. The truth. Tai Yamawaki told us a story that was very similar to the legend they told in the strange village. Well, it was less like it was similar, and more like I was looking at it from the opposite angle. The part about Great Lord Shinai sending the 5 guardians to help people was the same. 4 of them then teamed up with the humans to murder the wolves. However, in the real story, the good and bad sides were completely reversed. Apparently, the people in the 4 guardians joined Yomi on the very first feast of the Yomi Purge. People in the 4 guardians joined Yomi, okay. Basically, all of them were Yomi Bito. They all ganged up on, overpowered, and expulsed the wolves who tried to resist until the very end. That meant this land had belonged to the Yomi Bito for a long, long time. The wolves were summoned here by none other than Shinai-sama himself. Some people of Yasumisu were given the blessing of the wolves and had to free Yasumisu of its Yomi Bito. Basically, it was a holy war for them, and that was the truth behind the feast of the Yomi Purge. Tai Yamawaki continued her explanation.
そんなもんは上富士吉の方々が私たちをバカにしてから考えたもんじゃと思ったのよね
At first, we thought the people of Kami Fujiyoshi just made it up to make fun of us.
だけどそうじゃない本当じゃと親鸞様は加護をくださるとともにそう言われなさった
But we found out it was true when we became blessed by Shinai-sama himself.
じゃからね、ちいちゃん。
So you see, Chi-chan.
あたしらはみんな亡きにしてやらねばならんかったのよ。
That's why we had to slay everyone.
つらかったけどもね。
It hurt a lot, though.
匠も苦しそうにしとったけれど。
Takumi suffered greatly, too.
でもこうしてやらねば読み人は救われんと。信内様は言われるのよ。
But we had to do it to save the Yomibito. That's what Shinai-sama said. Tai Yamawaki was crying. Alright, so she was now a confirmed culprit who believed the murders to be salvation. There were just two more points I didn't understand. The corruption, and the eerie message. Most things made sense if you switched Shinai-sama's enemies and allies. The idea that people wearing those outfits could be the good guys was kind of weird, but, well, that was a culture here. Or maybe only the Yomibito, me too, saw them as evil. Maybe that was the story here. The problem here was that
そんなの
I
そんな話知らない。
didn't know that. Shemi didn't know this.
僕は加護を受けた時に知った。
I only found out when I was blessed. So even Yasunaga-kun didn't know about it. I remembered some of his words.
学校の先生の受け売りですけど、思想を与えればいいんじゃないですか？
This is just something I heard from a teacher at school, but you could do it by giving them something to fight for, couldn't you?
要は自分たちのしていることが正しいと思えればいいんじゃないかって。
Basically, you need to make them think that they're doing the right thing. He really hated lies, didn't he? He basically told me the truth of things. This feast actually had a system that made zealous murderers of people. Whatever. Enough about Yasunaga Uribe.
なぜハルちゃんは知ってた？
Then why did Haruchan know? She was glad when she realized Yasunaga Uribe was a wolf. Basically, she already knew the real story, that the wolves were the good guys. Why? Who told her?
狼様が
The
私に
Okami...
教えてくれた。
The Okami-sama told me.
おじいちゃんが死んだ日に私の夢に出てそう教えてくれたんだ。
They showed up in my dreams on the day Oji-chan died and told me about it. Nonsense. Insanity. Did she seriously decide to throw her life away over a dream? But on the day Oji-chan died, he died the night before Haruchan tried to run away from the settlement. She believed the dream. She started to despair over being surrounded by Yomibito and planned to escape. That made sense.
でもタイバーはきっと正しい言い伝えを知ってると思った。タイバーが知らないはずないって。
But I did think that Taiba would know the real story. There was no way she couldn't.
なのに言い出さないからもしかしたらって思ってたし。
But she didn't say it, so I thought that maybe she was a wolf.
兄ちゃんは二人で話した時もしかしたらって思って。
And I began to think the same thing about Nichan when we talked. Okay, so maybe there isn't like a role thing. I just assumed like, you know, again, I'm pulling information from Gnosia, and I don't even know the real like werewolf social game enough because whatever. But like I was like, damn, maybe it's because it's like a role that was assigned to her that was like, oh, you know, you want, you know, the bad guys to win. But it might just be her just doing whatever. Well, not, you know what I mean. It all clicked. She believed. She believed the sudden revelation despite a lack of proof, and that the man she liked was in the minority that had justice on their side. And right now, she said she would betray the humans and join the wolves. She believed Yasunaga Uribe was right with all her heart. And so, the wolf, Yasunaga Uribe, had 3 votes for the feast.
知恵姉とメイコが僕に投票しても僕を殺すことはできない。
I can't be killed even if Chieni and Meiko both vote for me.
ルールを曲げて不採さんを宴に呼んでも3票だ。決戦投票をしても 一人に選ぶことはできない。
Even if you bend the rules and count Fusaishi-san's vote, it'd still be just 3. You couldn't choose one even if we did a final vote.
かくして二人とも欠けることなく狼の
And
勝
now,
ちです。
and now, without either wolf dying, we win.
楽勝でしたね。
It was easy. Okay. So seriously, so it seems as if we're probably ending, we're getting near the end of a route, right? So, again, this might be answered soon. But I'm curious now, because we got to an end of a route, and we seemingly have been told who the wolves are. So, when we use a key, get a key, use a key, go down a different path, does the game switch up the roles? Or does it follow the same thing? At what point in a timeline do the roles get decided? How is the game going to handle this? Because for us as a reader, if they don't do something slightly clever even, and they just... Like, this would be a slog if we know who the two wolves are, and then we just go through and the other guys try to, our main protag just tries to piece together the things. Unless it pulls a thing where it's like knowing who the wolves are is like not really the main battle of this thing, where it's like, oh, even if you know who it is, like you gotta do. I wonder. Because my thinking was that originally, okay, so my mind went 2 places. My mind first was like, okay, it's a loop game. Like even before we knew, like I knew much or played much of this game, I was like, oh, it's just a loop thing. Just like Kenosha, roles are going to change and it'll do in the story. I thought that. Then I was like, okay, maybe we only have one timeline and we're going to be going back and forth, but like we're going to slowly be piecing it together. And that could work if the roles aren't going to keep getting switched around. If we, at the end of one route or whatever, a big route, we don't learn who the wolves are. And so then you're going back and forth in these loops and the different timelines to then try to piece the main bat roles. But now we're still seemingly early in this game and we know who the wolves are. So if they don't change it up somehow, I should just trust the game. Yeah. I saw it clearly now. I understood.
春秋さん、
Haruaki-san?
それって
Is he?
そうだね。安永くんの言
Yeah.
う通りだ。
Yeah. Yasunaga-kun is right.
ちえみたちの、いや、僕たちの負けだ。
You? No. We lose. Everyone had different reactions to my words. Chami backed away and gasped. Tai Yamawaki closed her eyes and sighed. Meiko didn't seem to understand anything. Yasunaga Ribe didn't react at all. Haru Makishima was smiling. Oh man. All I really had left was struggling like the filthy, annoying adult I was.
はるちゃん、
Haru-chan?
何よ。あ、兄ちゃん、この久石さんはどうなるの？
What? Oh, Nii-chan. What'll happen to Fusaishi-san?
このまま何も関わらないのならば僕は無視する。
I'll ignore him if he doesn't interfere.
そう。
I see. Was that relief just now? Sorry, but I couldn't enjoy my sudden jump in popularity.
なきにせいでもええのかね。
We don't have to slay him.
必要なら新内様がどうにかするさ。
Shinai-sama will do something if need be. That dispassionate tone didn't do much to convince me he truly believed his ridiculous superstition.
でも黙ってはいないのでしょあなたは。
But you won't ignore this, will you?
さあね。正直、そっちが善玉なら、読み人側に手を貸すのも微妙って気はしてきたし。
Who knows? Honestly, if you're the good guys, I don't know if I should help the Yomibito side.
春秋さん。
Haruaki-san,
思ったより薄情なんですね。
you're crueler than I thought.
都会人の合理性とでも思ってくれれば
We city folk value a well-reasoned argument.
見損なったとは言いませんよ。正しい判断です。とても正しい。
I want to say I misjudged you. It's the right decision. Very right, in fact. Big words.
ちょっとそんなのないでしょ。あなたあれだけジェネのことが好きとか言っておいて見捨てるの？
Hey, what the hell? You said you liked Chieni, didn't you? And now you're gonna abandon her? Good point. Well, yeah, it was pretty damn cold-blooded.
痛いところを疲れるばかりでも不愉快だから反論しちゃおうかな。
I'm not too fond of being hit where it hurts, so I guess I'll respond.
はるちゃんよ。
Haru-chan?
何を？
What?
分かってると思うけど、君は死ぬぜ。
You know you're gonna die, right?
それでいいんだよな。
You're okay with that? Huh? This was pretty damn bad, honestly. Apparently, this great Lord Shinai was a huge scumbag. He should have told her that much.
君に聖典を教えたところで、君が人側であることに変わりはない。
Even if you've been told the real story, you're still a human.
君は狼になったわけではないだろう。匠さんや野里さんを殺したわけではないだろう。
You haven't become a wolf, have you? You didn't kill Takumi-san or Nosato-san, right?
殺してないけど。
I didn't.
なぜだか知らないが、君は聖典を知ってしまっただけのただの人だ。
I don't know why, but you're just a human who knows the real story.
だから人が負けるということは、君も死ぬということだ。
That's why the human's defeat will mean your death.
二人きりの時の話で、安永君が狼である可能性に思い当たったと言っていたね。
You said you thought Yasunaga-kun might have been a wolf when you talked together, right?
安永君がミスでそんなことをするとは思えないから、きっと君の挙動不審から君がそういう役回りだと感づいて。
I don't think he would ever let anything like that slip, so he probably realized your role from the way you were acting.
それで自分の正体を確定させないままに誘導して、君が誘いに乗るかどうかを試したんじゃないかと思うわけだけど。
He was probably trying to lead you by showing hints, but not revealing his identity in order to test whether you join him.
狼はそういう役回りの人がいることを知っていたということじゃないのかな。
The wolves probably knew there was a human who had that role.
それが
What of
どう
it?
した？
He actually said that? This was the part where he was supposed to start lying. By not denying that, you basically admitted that you were an absolute scumbag who used Haru-chan knowing you'd have to kill her. He was that bad at lying? Then how did he survive so long? Wait. Something was very wrong. I'd seriously misunderstood something here. And soon enough, my hunch was proven right.
本当。
Oh, what a CG here. Seriously?
それが
What of
な
it?
んだってのかしらね。
What of it? Haru-chan. Haru Makishima's voice was brimming with joy. Very much, we saw you from across the bar. Do you want to join us type vibes here? Except for... And also my senile grandma is behind me. Haru Makishima's voice was brimming with joy. A carefree smile, laced with seductive intoxication.
読み人はくくられなきゃならない。
Yomibito need to be hung.
汚れた。醜い。おぞましい私たちには。
We're corrupt, filthy, and disgusting.
狼様の渦と爪だけが救いなの。
We can only be saved by the wolves' whirls and claws.
誰だってわかるわ。そんなこと。
Everyone knows that.
だから兄ちゃんは香織さんを手にかけたんだもんね。
That's why you finished off Kaori-san, right?
お母さんを幸せにするために。
You wanted to make your mother happy.
ああ。
Yeah.
その通り。
Exactly.
兄ちゃん、春も幸せにして。
Nii-chan, make me happy too. Haru Makishima, coquettishly leaned on him. I know that word. Yasunaga Uribe brought her closer without even a flicker of emotion crossing his face. Tai Yamawaki watched them with a broad smile. I'm just happy the youth are happy. What? What the hell? What were these people?
それで知恵ね、どうする？
So, Chieni, what will you do?
おとなしくするなら救ってあげる。
If you listen to me, I'll save you. I underestimated it. I underestimated the madness of Yasumisu, and I realized too late that the feast of the Yomi Purge wasn't just a system where zealous murderers killed each other. There was something here that completely shattered the people on a fundamental level. It was like a gear of madness. Those who knew the real story found salvation in death. That insane tale instantly convinced people that it was right to agree and to find peace in that. And I was actually surrounded by these very people. Understanding that made me remember that she was from here too. Shemi was trying to take a step forward. I should have realized this earlier. She, who was afraid of God, was just like them who accepted their salvation. Both brands of madness probably had roots in this exact same thing, so she was just as susceptible to madness as they were. However, it wasn't too late for her. Yasunaga Uribe's expression stayed the same, but right before I looked away from him, I saw a slight change. It was bitterness, irritation, something out of place on a victor's face. That made me realize that his plan for the scene wasn't lost to madness. Then I had no choice but to take advantage of the opportunity. I grabbed Chiemi's hand. I pulled with so much force that she fell on her backside, but I didn't care. I dashed past her and swung my weapon at Yasunaga Uribe. Fucking stick attack. I hit Haru Makishima once. Oh my god, he's... Tai Yamawaki twice. Oh, the old lady gets hit twice. No respect for the elderly. and Yasunaga Uribe 5 or 6 times. Then I ran to Chiemi and Meiko, who were completely dumbfounded and fled the hall. There was no time to waste. I had to hurry up and escape. If I didn't, I'd waste the one chance he'd given me. Haruaki-san, what are you doing? What's going on?
Na, Chiemi.
Hey, Chiemi.
何？
What?
あの安永君ってのは本当に頭が良くてやがるな。
Yasunaga-kun really has a good head on his shoulders, doesn't he?
何のこと？
What are you talking about? My hand hurts, I'll fall. I was probably irritated, not just because of hunger. It was because of that epiphany I'd had, and because it had taken me so long to reach it. Yasunaga Uribe had a different motive.
芹沢千恵美に惚れている君は彼女だけは手にかけたくなかった。
You have a crush on Chiemi Serizawa, so you didn't want to hurt her, if no one else.
そして残っていた合理的思考でわずかでも彼女を救う可能性があるのは脱出しかないと判断した。
So you used what little reason you still had to conclude that the only way to save her was through escape.
しかし大っぴらに脱出を認めれば他の全員に汚れが及ぶがゆえに
But letting someone escape would be subjecting everyone else to the corruption.
僕が全員を叩きのめして無理やり連れて行ったという形を取らざるを得なかったということなのだろう。くそ。
So you had to have me beat up everyone and take her by force to avoid that. Shit. If he didn't intend to let me run away, he wouldn't have thrown away the sickle. He was basically signaling for me to understand and finally attack him. In the end, he was far more clever than me, and never stopped dancing to his tune. Regardless of... No, exactly because of that, I had to help these two escape no matter what.
なんせ大人だからな。
After all, I'm an adult. By the way, using an adult without relying on one yourself is a very adult thing to do, Yasunaga Uribe. Good luck with the rest. We crossed the field paths, went past the stone graves, and over the boundary. Okay, so is the game and our main protagonist here trying to convince me that what ended up happening was that this was a play by Yasunaga to, because he likes Chiemi so much, that he was giving non-verbal cues to our main protagonist that despite me being a wolf and having the wolf mandate, I like Chiemi so much that I'm going to non-verbally communicate to you that you need to do the thing you were going to do anyway and escape out to save her. I'm going to create an opening despite my role. I'm overpowering my role, basically, in the hopes that you save Chiemi, who I am involved in a love triangle with you with. Am I reading that right? I guess it's not the most absurd thing ever, but it's kind of absurd. But I don't know. And over the boundary. Let's see if he wins. Descending the cliff took a lot of patience. It didn't seem like they were chasing us, so we could go down carefully. Chiemi's expression was dead. She'd been hit hard by a sudden revelation. The game board had been flipped on her. She'd lost, and now she had to suddenly say goodbye to her old friends. It was hard to just laugh that off. Should I have told her about Yasunaga-kun's intentions? I did consider it, but couldn't bring myself to. He chose to save her by sacrificing their relationship. If she knew, she'd probably want to go back to the settlement. Or maybe I just didn't want to say it because of my pride as a man. That was that was fine by me, too. Being able to shrug off such unfairness was one of the blessings of adulthood. So I consoled Chiemi, shouted to Mako to be more careful, and generally talked as much as I could. The mist grew even denser.
ねえチエミ
Hey, Chiemi?
もう村の外って言ってよくない
I think we're already outside the village.
そうかも。
Maybe.
やったぞほら何事もなく抜けられた
And look. No, we did it. And look, nothing happened.
やった？
We did it?
そうそうさあ川を下って町に戻ろう
Yep. Now let's cross the river and return to town.
川どっち？
I'm telling you, the fucking the convenience store clerk is gonna be waiting for them on the other side of the river and just murder them. She's the one who keeps the people in this town. She's gotta be some important character. Why was she shown? Why was she there? It makes too much sense. Where's the river? I couldn't see anything. I hadn't just lost my bearings. It was worse than that. I couldn't even see Chiemi or Mako's faces, and I was actually holding their hands. We were already at the bottom of the cliff, walking on the stones below. We heard water, so it was clear we were close to the river. But I didn't know if we could keep going right now.
ちょっと休もうか
Let's rest.
無理よ。
We can't.
チエミ
Chiemi? I thought she was gonna freak out again, but...
違うの。
No, that's not it. She stopped me.
聞こえないかな。水音以外に何か。
Don't you hear it? Ignore the water. Confused, I strained my ears.
何か聞こえる
What am I supposed to hear?
ワンワン。
Woof woof.
追ってきてる。
They're coming after us. They were acting strange. I strained my ears again. Okay. If she goes woof woof, woof woof, and then Chiemi is like, they're coming after us, I wouldn't even try to like strain my ears to try to hear it. I would start running again. Come on, man. Was it above us? I could hear the faint sound of rustling leaves from the top of the cliff.
逃げなきゃ。
We gotta run!
もう疲れた。
I'm tired!
春明さん、メイコちゃんを。
Haruaki-san, take Mako-chan. The intensity in Chiemi's voice made me take the situation seriously. What if the sound was just the wind, though? Was she jumping at shadows? But I would have been lying if I said I wasn't worried. That damn picture again. That one picture of the wolf, man. We got to see it at least once every stream. After all, the question remained unanswered. And according to the legend, this was their HQ. We gotta, terrifying wolf needs to make an appearance one more time in a slightly different pose or picture, because we need some other picture to reference whenever they think of the wolf. Wait, they were the good guys, right? Still, this wasn't a normal place. I had to get out of here ASAP. I was trying to click and it wasn't going, but maybe there were multiple dots. Multiple ellipses. After a while, I was forced to recognize the anomaly. We couldn't reach the river. I ran along the riverbed. Should have been small, just a few meters wide. But even after 10 minutes of running, there was no sight of the river. We couldn't get anywhere. It was just like ring wanderung. A phenomenon where people wandering snowy peaks lose their sense of direction and just end up walking in circles. However, even if my sight was limited, how could anyone get lost on such a small riverbed? I could hear the stream right next to me. This felt so wrong. I was as good as blind. All I could trust were my ears, but that just made me realize how useless that was to rely on. I trusted my sense of direction less with every passing second. So, the sounds of parting grass in the distance, the sound of claws stepping on the rocks. I felt like they were getting closer. Couldn't be certain. Eventually, we slowed down. The others didn't say anything, but they were clearly exhausted. We hadn't eaten for days, not to mention the dense mist made our clothes all uncomfortably damp and cold. We walked along the riverbed without uttering a single word. Also, I'm just now realizing I forgot to do something. I don't need to go anywhere, but, I'm gonna be mysterious about what I'm talking about. Okay. Alright, sorry about that. We walked along the riverbed without uttering a single word. The sound of water wasn't getting closer, but something else sure was. Something. Things I didn't know scared me. The chill and the fear strangled me like a garrote as I carried Mako, passed out from exhaustion on my back. How long has it been like this? Suddenly, the hand I was dragging became heavier. Chemi had stopped.
Haruaki-san.
Haruaki-san. She called my name through the mist.
何かな
What? I tried to sound lighthearted, but I wasn't confident I'd pulled it off.
もうダメだこれ
We're done for. Her voice suggested the image of a grim smile.
何を言ってんだ
What are you saying? Unlike before, I couldn't manage the defined tone I'd used whenever she said something stupid. It was true that something unnatural was happening, and that there was no simple explanation. And Chemi was wearing down both physically and emotionally.
ちょっと休もうそれで進めばすぐ抜けられる大丈夫だ
Let's rest a bit. We'll get through this if we just go a bit farther. Don't worry.
ダメだよ無理だよ
No, it's impossible.
どうして
Why?
あのね 私がいたらきっと川は越えられないんだ
I think you can't get past this river as long as I'm with you. What? That was like...
だって言ってたじゃん
You heard what they said.
読み人は私たちの方だって
We're the Yomibito.
だから
So
だから彼岸を渡れないとでも言うつもりか
you're not worthy of crossing or something?
だって
No, I mean...
だって私小さい頃からずっと休みずのものを食べてきた
I mean, I've been eating Yasumisu's food since I was a little girl.
それに私は
And
私は汚れてるから
I'm corrupted.
ちえみ
Chemi.
見ないで
Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Oh, well, what? Huh? 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 What? I turned around and pulled her by the arm. I looked at her face from point blank range. It was covered in brown and yellow blisters. Yeah, you can kind of just see, Before I could even be surprised or disgusted, I just kissed her. Okay, well. No, I don't want to give her up, even if she's... Whatever. I don't know. And trust me, guys. Trust me when I say this. It's not just I don't like, you know, love stories in the face of horror, in the face of bad things happening. It's not like I'm like, oh, there can't be a love story. I just don't believe in this love story. I don't believe in this guy. I don't believe in this guy with her. This guy just sucks. I don't like it. I don't like him in a romance story. And I can't put my finger on it. Why? Fucking whatever. Lock lips with her. I don't care. The sugary taste of blood. Ew, gross. Stop the sentence. The sugary taste of blood, pus, and rust filled my mouth and spread throughout my throat. I didn't care. Like, this is supposed to be read as, like, romantic. Like, oh, even though she's hideous and disgusting and having a bad moment right now, it doesn't matter. I still love her and I'm gonna make out with her. But it's, like, not doing anything for me. Like, you hear the music and you're like, oh, they're pressed. They're in between a rock and a hard place. Like, they're running away. They're trying to escape for the better and all this. And she's telling him that they can't leave when she's with them because she's part of the village. And I'm like, and also, yeah, I mean, reading the sugary taste of blood, pus, and rust filling your mouth is... Then, to discard all unnecessary emotions, I hugged her as hard as I could. My breathing and thoughts ceased. I kept it up until the pain began to fade. And also, if you're watching this at some point and you're like, no, Austin, this story is great and you shouldn't be sad. I'm sorry I'm potentially ruining it for you. And I'm sorry you're a fan of this. This exact thing. Not even of this game. I'm not even being critical of the game. I'm just being critical of the guy. For whatever reason. And I think I'm being critical, if anything, I'm being critical of how the relationship story between these two, it's just not hitting for me. And I can't tell if it's a mix because it just is bad, and also, like, their goofy, like, buildup of the relationship that we've seen up through this part of the game just hasn't really hit well for me, maybe. And there's, like, the weirdness that, like, it... For lack of a better term, it feels so forced, right? Because we're told, like, a compelling reason for this guy for falling for her. We were basically told at the very beginning, like, oh, I was on my bike and before I crashed it and wound up in this weird town, like, I had a bad breakup. So we're told from the very beginning that he is in this heightened state of, like, emotions of some sort because he just came off a breakup. And not trying to add ill will or intent to it, but, like, clearly this is like a rebound type situation. And again, I'm not putting, obviously, rebounding negative connotation to and all, but, like, that's where the start of the story tells us why he's so interested in her all of a sudden, is that he just got out of a relationship, whether it was bad, it was probably bad. He talked about how bad of a breakup it was or whatever the case is. And then he instantly falls for her, and then they're kind of goofy towards each other. Whatever. Then disappeared completely. Eventually, and I don't know, I don't even want to say it's necessarily because, like, they've only spent, like, a few days together or whatever the case is, like, and he fell so madly in love with her and so quickly, so soonly, while all this other shit was happening around them, like, but, like, it is kind of unnatural how they, like, eventually our lips were separated again. She prioritized words over breaths. Me all the time. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Even so, I hugged her tight. I couldn't lose to something so ridiculous. She weakly hugged me back, but she couldn't keep it up for long.
Hiko.
Let's go. I'm telling you that...
Hiko.
Let's go. The presence in the distance was definitely closing in. We walked. I felt like I'd been walking for several hours now. Our pursuers were close now, but I had no intention of rushing. Chemi was slowly but surely getting weaker by the second. Her speed slackened with each step, and the weight on my arm was becoming heavier. I could hear her cough and vomit something out. She apologized every time she did, and I basically replied with, "It's all right," using different words every time. We walked. Chemi's feet began to make wet sounds with every step. We walked. Maybe we'd actually been here for only a few minutes. We walked. Chemi kept apologizing. Maybe we haven't even moved a single meter. We walked. Maybe none of this was real. Then, maybe nothing that happened here would be weird. Eventually, Chemi called out to me with a hoarse voice. I don't feel so good. Oh god. Haruaki-san. The fact that she said something different had sparked a moment of baseless hope. And so, thank you. Her gratitude was followed by another wet sound. Ew. She's fading fast. I had fun. Also, where's... Is Mako, like, witnessing all this? Can I get her opinion on what's happening right now? With those final words, her weight vanished. It was strange. After all, I was still holding her hand. Ooh. Or, rather, only her hand. Ooh, with a splash, her bodily fluids spread around, while her limbs and entrails just collapsed. Happy post-Valentine's Day. Chemi was gone, leaving behind only her rotting hand. Perhaps her remains were piling up in the mist ahead. I had a strange certainty I couldn't touch it ever again. Was this what they called a Yomibito? I couldn't accept this, no matter what. I don't care what. Take a part of me outside. See, all my complaints from earlier, I don't even dislike her. I think Chemi's cool. I think she's a cool character. I think she has some interesting things happening with her mind. She seems important. She's got some funny little quips, but she's like that. She straddles that line of like, she's not too obnoxious. She's got some things. She clearly has some things in her mind. She clearly knows some things she doesn't let on. All that's compelling. But when you mix her with him, I'm like, And it's more than just me not... I think it's more than me just not liking the guy, as I've expressed before, too. I don't want this to just come like, oh, you don't like their ship, you don't like them as a pairing. And it's like, it's kind of more than that. I don't like the reasoning behind their pairing. It's not compelling. It hasn't really... And not only is it not compelling, but the game keeps putting it forward like it's an important thing, right? It's not something that's just completely in the background. Like it's a motivating factor. And that it just hasn't been compelling. The game hasn't, to me, and I'm bad at talking and expressing exactly why it makes me feel this way, but I just hope it makes sense when I say that. I don't care what, take a part of me outside. I put my hand in my jacket pocket. I took Mako, still sleeping, and shifted my grip to make carrying her easier. Oh, Mako was apparently asleep. What, on his back or something? Whatever. I continue walking for too long. Mako woke up. She was shocked that Chemi was gone and cried for a bit, but then she said she wanted to walk by herself, so I put her down on the ground. The very next moment, she was dragged into the mist. What? It was clearly a malicious force that did that. Oh my god. To me, it looked like a furry arm. A scream resounded. Wow, so much is happening all of a sudden so quickly. It was an inhuman, animalistic scream. After hesitating for a moment, I turned to run and caught a glimpse of something beastly within the mist Mako had disappeared into. I ran. And I ran so far away, and ran. Suddenly, I felt myself step into something wet. I had arrived at the river. It was meaningless. I'd lost everything, and in the end, only I survived. I don't care what. Take a part of me outside. Every time I read that, I think I read it weird. I think what she's saying is, I don't care, like, what part of me. Just take it outside. Take any part of me. But every time I read it... But I should maybe be... I don't care what. Take a part of me outside. Whatever. You know what I mean. Okay, was there any meaning in fulfilling that promise? No. The meaning was for me to find. That was why I had to survive and find a forest. Yeah. I still had that hope back then. Oh! They finally broke through the mist and showed themselves. Oh, of course. This really was hell, wasn't it? This wasn't the human realm or Nirvana. It was a river of hell. So, of course, both sides of it were going to be hell. There was no splash when we threw Takumi-san's body in, was there? The moment we went into the mist and down the cliff, our bodies vanished from the world and reached a place from which there was no return. And I finally had no choice but to accept it. As someone who had taken in the flesh and blood of a Yomobito, Chiemi, I couldn't escape either. That was why I screamed stupidly, only managing to run a few steps before their sinister claws tore me apart. Ooh, damn it. Where had I gone wrong? Descending into Saranaga? Not believing Chiemi when she told me we couldn't escape? No, it went back even earlier than that. I already knew the answer. Ugh, shit. I really wished I'd been part of Yasumisu and participated in the feast of the Yomi Purge. Maybe I could have gotten a different ending than this. He's got to be the part of the feast, dude. That was the last thought that went through my mind before all faded away. Gamma over? Oh shit, actually, credits. Oh shit, we actually did a thing. Remember the reporters being characters? Let's get back to them. let's get them back in the story, yeah? Let's throw back some wild cards into this. Gone too soon. Well, I'm curious. I assume now what's going to happen is we reach the end of a major branch, right? And I assume we get a key with what he said. He specifically said, well, I need to be a part of the feast. So I'm assuming we're going to get a key that's like, I know I will be. Oh yeah, prepare yourself for the next feast. I'm going to be a part of this feast type thing, right? So I assume we go back quite far. Raging loop. Whirls and claws. Ba-ding. Reached ending 1 and obtained the key, sink into Nirvana. Only 8%. Oh, total trophy progress. Nope, never mind. Did they change at some point? PlayStation had changed. It used to be how popular trophies were. Like how many people. Did I click a setting? Did I click a setting or did they just override it? It used to be like, oh, this many people have this trophy. Did they intentionally change that because it looks bad for a game, maybe, if a lot of people didn't get trophies? Or did I click a setting? Because I was about to say, oh, damn, only 8% of people who started this game only got to this point. But did they switch that because... Do they still have... No, it says... Never mind. I mean, it's here. I think they just changed the display there when you pop the button. Because it used to say... Where it says, like, the common and then 66.4% people. That used to be what used to be at that percentage thing. But now it's overall trophy progress for some reason. I don't think I clicked a setting. Found the hidden hint and watched it? What does that mean? Obtain key 4, sink into Nirvana. You can view it in the keys list. The route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number on the scenario chart. So obtain key 4. Yeah. Yeah. Ending number 1. Watch Hint Corner? No. I was about to say yes. I was tempted to say yes. I don't know if they're good or not. They're probably not worth it. They're probably not worth it, right? So we should probably end on a cliffhanger, yeah? As in, I feel like we should switch games, maybe. Something about 4? Ooh, right here. Way at the beginning, yeah? 4. So we'd be going, I mean, it looks like diagram-wise, like, we massively change. All right, so we have to, I'm trying to, it just, to me, doesn't make sense if the game doesn't switch up the rules, right? It just seems like it would be not fun if we as the reader are already aware and then we just have to watch our guy piece together rules that we already know, right? So there's got to be some explanation or reveal that the rules have changed once he decides that he's going to participate in the feast, yeah? Surely that's what's happening, right? Surely this game is not going to do the thing I don't like. The thing that I think it would be the lesser thing to do, the less exciting thing to do. But I don't know. I'm of two minds. But we'll leave on a cliffhanger. Cliffhanger for you watching. Cliffhanger for me, because we'll go right into it. I think like it makes more sense to do because then we're on a more of a clean slate, right? We'll use the 4 key and head in there. And like I said, I assume what it is based on what he said at the very end there. This is, especially where this is placed, this is us being like probably forcing ourselves into the feasts. And also because we saw when we used one of the keys before, way earlier in the game, he does retain some knowledge. There's some kind of like him being like almost like a deja vu type experience where he's like, oh, I could see the path. He's like, he doesn't, seemingly we don't know how he doesn't like piece it together that he's pre-experienced these moments. Maybe that'll happen at some point down the road. But at the very least, there could be a thing where they try to be like, no, he shouldn't be part of the feast. And he's going to be like, I can like, in my brain, I feel like I experienced a time when I wasn't part of the feast and everything went poorly. I am going to be a part of the feast, please. Hand me that sake and let's go to town. I do want to play the game. You know? I don't know even yet what. I'm going to switch to something. But I'm going to take a little bit of a BRB. And then we'll play something probably for a little bit. I don't know. It could be that we go for the rest of the night. It could be that we don't. So that might impact how I do. Let me check. Am I being pinged by friends? No. We'll see. I'll see. But we're going to switch away from this. And then obviously we'll get back to this week at some point. Maybe as early as tomorrow. But at least sometime this week. And we'll continue reading. I just think it's good to end here on this. Because... you know, it's the end of a major route, right? All right. I'll be back shortly. And I'll have something else booted up. So we'll be back.